That's what I like to see. What is going on, everybody? Welcome, Argonauts. Welcome all to a Tuesday afternoon stream. It is 4:25 p.m. here on the channel. And welcome to day 4 of Shire Adventures, a conspiracy most cracked. We are sponsored, as always, by Free League Entertainment. And we are for entertainment. That's Alligator Alley. Free League Publishing is what I meant to say. We are sponsored, as always, by Free League. We are very grateful to them for that sponsorship. And we are grateful to all of you being here. I hope you folks have enjoyed yourself this afternoon. I saw a few of you over on GogCom's Twitch channel as I was playing some Chained Echoes earlier today, and I was doing that to accommodate my lovely Shire Adventure players who are here to wrap up today a conspiracy most cracked, and I will announce at the end of the session, assuming all goes well, where the party will be destined next and what the name of that adventure will be. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Before we get there, just a couple of reminders about ways to support the channel. If you have not done so already, please make sure to follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube to save your freaking echoes. I know, I'm trying to save the echoes, Echo. So please, if you have not already done so, check out our YouTube with !ArvTube and subscribe over there. That always is helpful to us. Does not cost you anything, but really helps us. Discord is !ArvCord. That is where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. !ArvTweets is my Twitter. Please follow me over there until that site completely implodes and falls into the sea. And the website for all of this is arvaneleron.com. Financially, !ArvShop is my merchandise area. We are currently working on that, Triffid and I, and we should have something ready to go in the next couple of weeks, I hope, so that it can be relaunched with some new merchandise and swag, but that will support us. !ArvTreon is the Patreon, sitting at 19 patrons, $167 per month. Really the financial backbone of the channel, so any support that people can give there would be much appreciated. You can get cool stuff like epic character backgrounds and poems written about you and different stuff like that, plus inspirations to help the players, which is great. And while I'm on the subject of inspirations, you can also help get inspirations if you sub or resub to the channel. So please consider subscribing or resubscribing to the channel because that also gets you cool stuff, including custom sub badges to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch, and helps the channel as well by supporting what we do here. So thank you for doing that. !Icarus, my graphic novel from Athos Arts. !Library, my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment, and of course Grayshade, my novel, which has now been nominated for, which is now a finalist for the IBPA Benjamin Franklin 2023 Awards in Science Fiction and Fantasy. We will find out next month if it is a silver medalist or a gold medalist, but it is one of 3 finalists, and that's really awesome and a wonderful honor. So you can get that novel. You can get the novel Renegade, the cover art of which has now been officially approved, and so we are making great strides, and we should by the end of the month have all of the stuff off to production and ready to go. So by next, certainly, I keep saying later this year, but definitely not in the far future, we should have Renegade available to you. Very exciting for that. And then Heretic is the final book in that series, the Grey Assassin Trilogy, and that'll be out next year. I am working on that as we speak. You can also get the tabletop role-playing game from Brandon O'Brien and Alligator Alley Entertainment. That'll be out later this year, the Grayshade tabletop role-playing game. And the audiobook from Tren can be ordered directly from BackerKit via that link, or it will be propagating to some of the other places like Audible and things like that shortly. So you should be able to get a hold of the audiobook of Grayshade done by Tren as well. And as always, !BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. !Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well. And !Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war and send the message that we will support others in that situation in future. Last, I want to mention !Klein. That is for this. We are now officially 1 month away. 1 month from now, we will be at the stage of the historic Klein Memorial Auditorium at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we will be about an hour and a half and a month from now. We will be on that stage. We'll be in front of a live audience as we kick off the 9th annual ArvCon to benefit the Damon Rennie Cancer Research Foundation. I will be joined by Carlos Hernandez, C.S.E. Cooney, Zach Clay, and Robert Austin James, otherwise known as Darkside Rob, plus a high school student who has won an essay contest for this purpose, and the players will be going through my night at the Forbidden Library. $5 tickets to get you in the door, $5 tickets to watch the live stream. So all of that is super helpful, and that will benefit excuse me, the Klein Memorial Auditorium, as I mentioned, but will also benefit, of course, the Damon Rennie Cancer Research Foundation. And again, if you are willing to put up flyers for this and you are in the tri-state area, I would love to be able to send these to you, so that some physical copies of these to you, so you could put them up at game stores or bookstores or D&D clubs or things like that. And if you are not in the tri-state area, I'd still be happy to send you digital copies of these, because you can distribute them on various online places, because again, people can go via the live stream to watch this as well, Thursday night at 6 p.m. And of course, I will be announcing in the next couple of weeks the schedule for ARVCon, and I will be announcing the companies that are backing us. We're now up to about 6 out of my companies that are sponsoring us, and so I'm hoping that we had 8 sponsors last year. I'm hoping we'll get up to 9 or 10 sponsors by the end of all this, leading up to the festivities in May. So it's going to be very exciting, one of the highlights of the year for me in the channel, so I'm very excited about it, and I hope you will support that there. With all that said, I'm going to unmute myself and apologize unreservedly for whoever it is that I have interrupted by accident, not being able to hear them. And then I will unmute them.
Accepted, I guess.
I then will unmute them, and I will head over to reveal the incredible crew that you see before you. They are prepared, they are ready, they are set to go, and advancing through the world of the Matham House with extremely high stakes, enormously dangerous creatures at every turn, and a fierce dog that must be overcome. So that's what the deal is. But it is good to see them. Echo, I am not affiliated. Well, Greenfort Studios still does some work with us here and there, but we have not gotten anything new from them for some months. So I can always come back to them at some point in the future, in case you're curious. Also, I didn't mention this before. My apologies. Remember, tonight chat, 9 p.m. Eastern, will be the second of 2 Our Vocalist sessions this month, finishing Citizen Sleeper. I'll be joined by Zach Clay and by KP, who was not with us a couple of weeks ago, but will be with us for this one. So you'll definitely want to check that out. Now, the amazing Shire Adventures crew, beginning with someone who has been referred to as having an awesome wreath. And that, of course, is Amal Matar, who is with us and is not in the usual place, although I love the green, which really corresponds very well with the color scheme. So how are you, Amal? How's everything with you and such? And who are you playing today?
Hello. I am very slow today. Things are okay. I am out at my parents' place in rural Quebec, looking after dogs in the house while my parents go have an adventure. They're coming back today though, but nevertheless, I've been here for 3 weeks and it's been very good, but very full and lovely. I had guests for a week. I had a week of extreme deadline stress, but then there were many birds. The birds have made me feel very good. I saw an eastern meadowlark. It was very good. Yes, it's been very nice overall. But I am so slow, and I have been having a lot of coffee, but I didn't today, and that was probably a tactical error on my part.
I mean, this is perfect for going into a place where you need to be agile and, steal things. I think it couldn't be a better setup for your character, I think, really.
True. Did somebody say I have an awesome wreath? Who said that?
Triffid did.
Aw, thank you. That's so lovely. It's a headband from Jasmine Chong, who I really like. Yes, it sits a little high. We'll see if it's flat, but I still like it. I feel it is coriander appropriate.
Is your slowness to do with the rural setting?
Wow, yeah, it's true. I am pathetically falsified with my internet connection. We are connected in that way. So it is slow. I am slow. I've just been waking up very early and not getting a lot of sleep because the dawn and the geese keep waking me. So, which is lovely to wake up with the light, except that I keep going to bed at like more or less my normal bedtime, which is late. So it's been a little sleepy and woozy. I play Coriander Took, who is a literal young fool of a took, who is very young, has very little sense of boundaries, disdains notions of property, and is very excited to liberate a map.
Yeah, and bring it back to its rightful owner. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, we'll see about that.
We'll see how we'll see that how it goes. Always a pleasure to have Amal with us. Hi Uber Jaeger 67, who I should say for the players who do not know this, but Uber Jaeger found our campaign through Adventures of Middle Earth on YouTube and really liked our YouTube stuff, and then was like, "This is amazing," and wanted to come back and do and sort of join us and like watch live stuff, and has been very supportive of the channel. And if you haven't done so already, because I know you folks are on my Discord, Tari heard this. You should go check out on the Tolkien Legendarium section of my Discord. Uber Jaeger posted a thing that he commissioned and wrote the lyrics for "Walking in Angmar" to the theme of walking in Memphis. And I was walking in Angmar, right? It's very funny
so
and very
good.
Tolkien. It's really good.
Amazing.
It's really good. So anyway, you should check that out.
Yes.
But it was really good. So welcome, Uber Jaeger. Always a pleasure to have Amal with us, and also a pleasure to have Brad with us, who is back from the continent, as they say, has returned from the old world. Brad, how's life with you? How was your trip? Did you meet anyone you knew? And everything. And who are you playing today?
Yeah. Since we last met, I went over to France for a trip to Belgium, Mons, for Trolls and Legends, a 2-day book festival. Well, a fantasy festival, not really a book festival. But my publisher, Bragelonne, in Paris, was nice enough to set up a signing, so I had a signing there, and it was kind of interesting to see, well, some of the same faces, and like it's been a while. It's been like 4 or 5 years, so to see like how things have progressed. The books have done pretty okay over there and stuff. So it was more populated this time. It was nice to see. And then the trip to Belgium was awesome. We got to see Tari. We hung out and watched heavy metal with her boyfriend.
Yes.
And,
I bought this T-shirt there.
Oh, did you?
We watched Heidefolk together.
Yeah.
Well, one song. We're a bit late.
Yeah, that was fun. And then the next 2 days, they a lot of festivals typically have you kind of sitting at a table and signing books for people who come and buy them at the festival store. But the festival itself is it's like fantasy oriented. So they have music, they have artwork, they have cosplay stuff. It's a very Ren Fair kind of feel to it. Even though it's a tiny bit commercial, some gaming as well. So that was cool as well. So yeah, really cool trip. And this time, because I had been to both, well, I've been to France a number of times and Paris, and to Mons once before, I didn't feel like put out as much. I knew what to expect, and I could enjoy it a lot more than I did the first time. The first time I was kind of like all over the place. Because it's a fairly busy time and stuff. But yeah. And also because I knew a number of people, Tari and her boyfriend went out with me and a booktuber who I met just through online circles. She drove down with her boyfriend from Switzerland. Anyway, so it was just nice to kind of like make some connections to my publisher or some friends I hadn't met in person before, or stuff like that. So it was really cool, relaxed trip. Nice to go, but glad to be back home and ready to play Halloran Fallowhide, who is a messenger and a budding cartographer, and is very interested in a particular map that we are all interested in for various reasons.
Absolutely. And I am excited to see how much the map gets restored. We'll talk about where all the position of these characters is in just a moment. Moving right along.
Sorry. Did you just say how much of the map gets restored?
No, he didn't say that. No.
I mean, why would I say something like that? Moving right along, swiftly on to the bottom left of these squares, we have the amazing illustrator, artist, and all-around good person, Tari Toons, who has now been mentioned several times as having gone to heavy metal shows and things like that. Tari, it's good to see you. As always, antlers are on point. How is everything going? How are you feeling about stuff and things with you? And who are you playing today?
I did buy an extra set of antlers at Trolls and Legends, actually. So
awesome. Okay, well,
that's on point.
is this a new? But this is not. That's not that one though, is it? Because these.
No. Those I'm going to use for different projects. I'm currently in the shed with like I have like a whole basket of like animal bones and antlers in my shed. As every girl does.
Sure, as you do, yeah.
So yeah, like it was very, very, very exciting to go to Mons to hang out with Brad. So it was a lot of fun. We had some very, very good food at that one restaurant, the
Yeah.
Checkered Cow. And so I spent way, way, way too much money at that event. Don't want to check my bank account how much actually.
So many things call to you at a place like that.
Yeah, it's like, so I'm like really like beyond like all the role-playing stuff. I'm also like really into like historical costuming, and like there were like a lot of like booths there where they sold like stuff for that. So like I think like my most treasured thing that I bought there is what's this called, cartridge weaved, a cartridge weaved belt, which is like a weaving technique from like late Iron Age into the Middle Ages.
Okay.
Like through the Middle Ages. So you can't buy these things like machine produced anywhere. Like they have to be handmade. That's why they're stupid expensive. So yeah, but like that's very pretty. So and like other stuff as well. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. And I'm playing Granny Lavender, who is the grandmother of our little Coriander here. And though, to be fair, Coriander has grown quite a bit in the past few years, so by now she's a little bit taller than dear old me. So, but yes, I am a herbalist and the local apothecary in Hobbiton, and a scholar, some would call me. So that is me.
That is you.
That is me.
And theoretically responsible for Coriander on this journey, in this adventure. So we'll see how that's going.
She's a cool grandma.
She's a cool grandma. Yeah, when not attempting to bring down a bird in cold blood with stones, when not doing that, then is the cool grandma and every other.
No, you see, if Grandpa would have tried to murder that bird, then she would have succeeded.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
This was just putting the fear of Granny in the owl, I guess, so to speak.
Yes.
Always a pleasure to have Tari with us, of course. And last but not least, a pleasure as well to have the aforementioned Trend Sparks future Audie winner, future multiple award winner for Gray Shade audiobook work and other things. That's I'm just putting that. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm just letting you know. Trent, how you doing? How's life in the universe with you? And who are you playing today?
Unlike everyone else, I have been stuck in this room forever. I went to the supermarket yesterday and sat in my car while they brought the groceries out and put them in the trunk. So I really didn't go anywhere. I went out to my car and my car moved somewhere, and then I came back, and then I went from my car to the house and then back into this room. The spiders have all hatched, so they keep showing up all over the place.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did I
What?
Crucial. When was there like a Charlotte's Web whole ass thing that we missed somehow?
Like we jumped right to the end when they all like, bye-bye.
The web says some trend on it.
Some trend, yeah.
Exactly. Trendist.
Oh, is that why you guys have fire season, to get rid of all the spiders?
No, we have fire season because people are stupid.
Oh.
Yeah, generally the thing. Those few fools who still smoke in this state have a tendency to just flick their cigarettes out the window when they're driving by a pile of incendiary material.
Is that a pipe? That wouldn't be an issue.
I mean, they wouldn't be throwing it out the window.
Like, flick.
Yeah, but anyway, no, I've been doing all right. I've got a bunch of work. It just keeps piling and piling and piling up. Because when the other night on the other show that I'm on this channel,
which would be known as Eberron.
Thank you, Eberron. It's such a long word; it's so easy to forget.
Yes.
I had mentioned that I'm reviewing or doing kind of a proofread of his book, the next one, Renegade, and so I've got that, and then I've got 4 stories by Jennifer Brozek that I have to read through, and then this other thing, this like not an analog, You put a bunch of stories together.
Anthology.
Anthology. Wow, I'm batting at that. It's a good
so
thing
glad I'm not the only one having these problems this evening. This is going to be just we'll bat it back and forth.
Yeah.
Cover each other's
Can be
bases.
analog though if it's not an ebook.
I'm just standing on the side of the
We're gonna-
road. I'm not
we're gonna
involved
call
with
this-
this thing at all.
This
We're
will be
gonna
the
call this
slow
one-
episode.
Yeah, right.
Their
But
adventures.
yeah, and then the other night, the folks at Pseudopod were like, "Hey, we want you to narrate this thing," and I'm like, "We think you'd be perfect for it." And I read it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so weird." Yes, I will absolutely narrate this. Oh, it's craziness. So it's and now I've got a bunch more BattleTech pronunciation stuff dumped on my head, which I have to record first, which I'll probably wind up doing tonight, and it's double what the last list was. So it's craziness. And I am playing Titch Applebow, who is a gate captain. Well, he's not really a captain. He's a gate guard. He's not a captain yet. He's just started, like been on the job for a couple of months, which is why he was, when the folks in Bree got a message from Hobbiton saying, "Oh my God, people have been reporting a giant bear running around. Please send help." A lot of the people in Bree were like, they've been at the pipeweed again. Hey, you new guy, go find out what's going on and come back and let us know if we actually have to send help. And so Titch has been running around the Shire trying to find information on this supposed bear, and no one will answer him. So
Plot twist. It's actually a burly big gay dude.
but I'm not there. I'm Titch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good.
Yeah, you can't confuse. That's very, very important. Flying Enemy points out they've been at the pipeweed, but that's not important right now. Right. No,
But that's not important,
right now.
Oh boy.
I am very excited for all of these four, and let's talk about this chat. This may be, by the way, a slightly shorter session, but it will partly depend, of course, on what the party does here. So we will see. In our last
will have
session,
a say.
yeah, exactly. Let me fire up a little bit of music here. Let me follow up my classic Willow and the Light. Okay. So the game is coming soon, and soon as it's nearly done. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the novel. Yeah, and Ubriager, I appreciate the assistance in this too, or the interest in the world, I should say. Yeah, so Gray Shade's out now. You can get the novel now. The audiobook is also out, but is being propagated to Audible. If you go to that link at BackerKit, though, you can get it directly this second and start listening to it at least after this session is done. And Trent is amazing. Seriously, all jokes aside, is a wonderful narrator, so you will hear that in the work. And the tabletop game will be out later this year. And Brandon O'Brien, known to several people in this call and to many people in chat, is the one doing the game design, and it's going to be really, really good. I'm very happy with it. So it's going to be cool. And thank you for the interest, Uber Yeager. So, in our last session, the four adventurers here, the no longer the Anduinauts, this is a different crew
Not
entirely.
yet Anduinauts.
Not yet. We have to. I know. We haven't thought of a group name yet, have we?
Brandywinauts.
The Brandywine. But we didn't come up with the name yet, right? Like that has not yet
No.
presented itself. Okay. We
The
shall see.
Brandy Winers.
The Brandywiners.
Brandywiner.
That could have all kinds of things. Meh, I don't want to cross the. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So in our last session, 3 hobbits and 1 determined but somewhat troubled man of Bree came together to do 2 things. One, according to the man of Bree, is to find a report of this bear that he's been sent to find, but then also maybe slightly help on the way if possible, assisting with the halflings who have been sent by none other than Bilbo Baggins himself to retrieve a map which clearly belonged to Bilbo's great-grandfather and thus is unfortunately sitting in the wrong place. It is in the Matham House in the West Farthing, and we all know that that's not where this belongs. It belongs on Bilbo's wall, and so he has recruited the very responsible and never impulsive Coriander Took, and the not at all fascinated by maps and everything having to do with them, Calor and Fallahide, and the not at all cool granny who might go along with mischief, on occasion, maybe Granny Lavender Hopesinger, along with the previously mentioned Titch Applebow to try to retrieve it. The party has had some adventures already. It took a while for them to cross the river. They did so, only getting a little bit wet, Titch's boots in particular. They managed to get to town and then head south of town and ended up clearing out an owl, which was causing some issues for a mule, a donkey that was in the barn, and managed to do so without actually bringing the owl low and angering all the creatures of the surrounding lands. So they managed to do that, and now have found their way to this Matham house. In our last session, they also had to talk their way out of a couple of problems with some of the bounders, who themselves are the kind of local police, you might say, security, who have been hanging around this place. And there was quite a debate. I actually had forgotten as I was going back in preparation for this, watching the video, how much debate, which may have been slightly related to the fact that everyone was really tired when this debate was happening. So I think there's a little, there's a little of actual frustration sneaking into the character play about what the plan was going to actually be to get into this locked place. And so what was decided is that Coriander would go up to the roof, would suss out the situation, and then would let them know. What Coriander actually did was go up to the roof, find a skylight, and then elect to drop through the skylight and get into the Matham house, while Cal and Granny Lavender are standing outside the locked door, hoping that Coriander remembers to actually go unlock the door. I'll talk more about Coriander in a minute. In the meantime, standing more or less as you see him in his character portrait, Titch is standing by the end of the stone path leading to the main road, hoping, because that's where he was told to wait, and hoping that he will find some people who can tell him more about this mysterious bear, which obviously we all know is completely real and is, totally going to show up at any second, and Titch will be all ready when that happens. So that is what's happening with Titch. Meanwhile, though, inside the Matham house, Coriander did manage to get in, and that's all good, until she found, let me see, no, it's not it, until she found, where is it? I might have brought it, let me see, if I brought it on this map. I have this image somewhere, I thought. Maybe not. Maybe I just window captured it. All right. Well, then I need to. It's very important that I show this because if we don't get a real, understanding of what is at stake here, I think that we need to know what we're risking here. So just give me 1 second.
While you're doing, it's okay. While you're doing that, I'll mention that when you're talking about walking in Angmar, I know you kept saying walking in Memphis, but continuously my brain keeps dropping back to walking on Sunshine. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't seem like it would fit very right. And I'm like, it was just like, wait a minute, hold on. It's like, I don't know if that would fit too well.
Not so much. Okay, so here we go. I have found the fierce. Now again, chat. This is a show which is supposed to be PG-13, but please, if you have small children, please remove them from the area, because this
Cat out.
terrifying beast was waiting and waiting for Coriander. This beast is currently under a table and is doing is snoring, while Coriander, light on her feet as always, has dropped to the ground. And so, with Cal and Granny outside, with Titch at the stone path in the road, and with Coriander staring at a a snoring dog, which is known, by the way, as Firework. This is Firework, the deadly dog. Very important. Firework, yeah.
What is that? A terrier? A Yorkshire Terrier or something?
It does look like a Yorkshire Terrier. A fierce one, though.
Yorkshire pudding.
I think if you look at it and say, baby, you're a firework, come on, tell me what you're worth. Let me say, okay, anyway.
You also can see this creature at the end of the original movie, The Howling, because when the newscaster turns into a werewolf, for some reason they made her look like a terrier. I don't know why, but... Anyway.
Yeah, it's true. The game I was playing earlier today claimed that there were forest worms, and I was like, no, those are cute puppies that I'm fighting, actually, not dragons. Anyway, so I'm going to hand things over to Coriander first. Coriander, you are standing inside inside the Matham house. And again, just as to set the stage for chat, remember this is a massive, high-ceilinged series of rooms. You've never seen this many things, Coriander, in one place at one time. There are, artifacts of books and diamond studs at a pedestal under glass and walking sticks that are mounted on a wall, and there are old brass buttons on a velvet board and a gleaming coat of silver rings set on a post and blah, blah, blah. But you have the fearsome guard dog that is curled up asleep under what looks like a writing desk. And so I'm going to hand things over to Coriander first and ask what you would like to do. There is the door. You can see the door from where you are as well. So.
Cool. Quick question. Does Coriander actually have... So we like our plan involved making a replacement map to sneak into place of the one that we're liberating.
Right. I believe you had done that, right? I believe it was at the tavern or the inn before, but I don't know.
Well, we
if
make
Cal
the
had it.
materials.
The materials, okay.
Right.
We didn't know what the map would actually
the map would look like, right.
So we kind of have everything.
Right. So that still needs to happen. Okay, great. Cool.
Just
And-
imagine Coriander's eyes going full Puss in Boots. Just...
Oh, yeah. Eyes big, sparkling anime eyes. However, before that, I just have a couple more quick questions of.
Okay.
So, the Matham house. Is it all one floor, or is there an upstairs and a downstairs?
It is a series of rooms that look to be mostly on one floor, but not entirely. There is what looks like a set of stairs leading up to kind of a inner landing, like a loft, I guess, that you could see from the ground floor. And then the skylight, of course, is above you that you descended through. And so it's more, there are rooms that are sort of connected to each other, mostly on one level, with the exception of that loft that I mentioned. Also, while you're thinking about plans, I have to go just for a moment because my mother-in-law needs me for something about my son. So I'll be right back. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Awesome. Cool.
So while he's gone, we all agree that we've completed this adventure and everything's fine and we're all rich and
Hey!
Sorry, Brad.
5 billion XP for everybody. Gold.
And it ends.
Wish spell for everyone.
Great.
It ends with Titch finding a bear track on the side of the road.
No, on the ceiling.
There's a montage of everyone having obtained what they desire. Granny's got a lot more, I don't know, premium pipe weed and is puffing away.
The good silver spoons that used to belong to the old Took. From Bilbo.
Wait, is that what you want or what Coriander wants? Coriander wants a spoon.
Like the, what is that called? Family silver. Yeah, sure. I'm assuming that. I know I forgot to actually take care of that. When we actually did the talk with Bilbo, because a lot happened at that point. So, but I'm assuming that.
Yes.
Granny is talking Bilbo out of one of the heirlooms of not from the old Took, one generation back. Where's the family tree that I drew up?
Oh, that's true.
To Fortinbras the First.
Yeah. And Caloran has, just lots of maps to transcribe and stuff, and Titch finds the one
track.
The one track that
one track to rule them all.
Good.
Right.
Yes.
So good.
One track to find.
Righty. Oh, I'm just reminding myself of what Coriander has on her person. Also, am I hallucinating that we used to have the character portraits on Roll20 and now
well, I mean, if you mean the token icon,
yeah,
they should be, if you move your map all the way over to the right and up. I think they're over
in
there.
the upper right.
All the way to the map and oh, there we go. Yeah.
Right.
We moved over there because we're using the group token on the map, so we have all of our stuff over to the side.
Okay, cool. I really like.
Because I remember how annoying it could be sometimes when we were in Adventures in Middle Earth, on the world map. And it was like, okay, now everybody move their tokens further, and like, I don't have control of my token. Where is my token? How do I get my token on the map? So I figured it might be easier to just have one singular party token for when we're doing overworld travel.
That does make sense.
Yes.
I like to see Coriander's adorable little face on top of her name, which instead of my adorable little face on top of her name. Anyway, what has she got in her pockets? Let's see.
Is it her hands?
So do we have a plan for making sleeping dogs lie?
I don't.
Well, I mean, like I had suggested last time, we could do the Monkey Island thing where we poison his food.
Yeah. I am.
I'm quite sure that Granny has a fair bit of valerian in her herbalism.
She
collection.
would.
I have a perplexing lack of items in my inventory, which I'm sure is not correct. So
They just wanted to be somewhere else.
yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Maybe there's a thief who's stealing from thieves.
Hmm.
I just mean that I feel like this is an incompletion of the sheet, probably, because I'm sure she has picked up stuff. But
Do you have them not written down anywhere else, your items? Like physically, maybe.
Not here.
Like in
No.
a physical character sheet that is hand designed by me.
Oh.
And we used as a little character booklet.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I do have that. Hold on a sec.
Like the character portrait here, but my color ink ran out, so she's kind of greenish.
She's an herbalist, of course she is.
Let's see. There's the poem I wrote for Inga. I'm just looking through my Google Docs.
No, the dog is in the house, not in Google.
What?
You're looking for your Google Docs.
Yes.
Yes, but no, the dog is in the Matham house.
Dog.
Oh wow, no.
Yeah.
You are really not mentally available today, are you?
Word. Google Doc and Google Dog is different. Those are different words.
And yet they sound
It wasn't
so
even
similar.
wordplay. It was okay. Anyway, yeah. No, I did actually make up her character sheet separately from what is on Roll20, but I cannot presently find it. So, oh well. Gosh.
Did the dog eat it?
The dog ate my character sheet.
Oh, the
seen that
coffee is
happen.
kicking in.
Apparently.
Giggly.
Lots of others.
Which means that in like roughly 30 minutes I will just be dead asleep. Ah.
Well,
Unless
by
I get
then,
more
hopefully
coffee.
Art will be back.
I mean, she clearly just used rope to get down from the skylight and a piton and stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. I'll just I've been playing so much Blades in the Dark lately, and like different Blades in the Dark variations. So I've gone and switching back and forth from a D&D like system to a Blade system is tricky because I've gotten used to just, I've declared load, and now I can just, whatever I need, I have that I require in a moment, and I don't want to just like refer back to a static inventory box. But at the same time, whenever I go play Blades, the fact that like scan or survey is not a perception check is also a giant like mind fuck. I can't remember if I can cuss on this channel or not anymore. I'm so tired, guys. Anyway,
So to get back to the whole dragging the dog thing, like there surely is like some kind of relatively common enough herb that
for sure,
like works like, I don't know, valerian, but like faster,
yeah.
maybe. So we could just,
We could
spice a
skip the
pie.
dog chocolate.
You kill it?
I'm sorry.
Oh, Amal!
I'm sorry.
No!
I'm sorry. Did you? I played a dog lover in my previous incarnation, and now harming of dogs.
May I remind you what happened at whatever the name of that town was at the river, at the place where the orcs almost killed poor Stone, and we were joking about how the arrows were, instead of covered in poison, were covered in like Hershey's
Where
chocolate syrup.
Where the bridge was. The
Yeah,
bridge.
yeah.
Gosh, dark
I need
time.
to look at the map.
Dark time. Anyway, no, of course we shouldn't.
Look at
do
the
it
map.
properly.
Just mix Valerian with turkey and
Yeah.
just gorge the dog.
Yeah.
Mm. Is the map in Fellowship? Or which book? I'm assuming it's in Fellowship.
Otherwise, yeah, I think I don't know. I am thinking that, like, I mean, I presume that, I don't know, I'm still coming back to like things that Coriander has on her, doesn't. She'll have like tools for picking locks and things, I presume. And other stuff like that.
That's the wrong
How
map.
about
I'm
yours?
an idiot.
Your soundless spell. Why don't you cast that?
What?
Cast your soundless spell.
Do I have one of those?
I don't know. I'm hoping. Center it on the dog.
Yes. Well, but that only works if his bark is worse than his bite. If his bite is bad, then that will. Well, I don't know. He's only small. We're small, but I figure you just like attach him to a pillow or something and just kind of walk around.
I'm really glad you finished that sentence because I was starting to go Edgar Allan Poe with the pillow.
First the chocolate.
Selduin! That was the name of the town. Selduin.
Selduin.
Well, I mean, that technically is the name of the river, but the town's name was also Selduin for some
Yeah.
reason.
Oh, you've got a perfectly good name. Then why not just use it twice? But yeah, no. I was literally about just like
Name's so
handing him a
nice, they used
pillow,
it twice.
chomp, and then you like throwing the pillow away like a frisbee, and then away go the dog.
Yeah, you could befriend the dog. That would be one of the other things you could do.
It's true. That is also a possibility. I'm very. I don't know.
Adopt the dog. Turn him into a battle dog.
I
And
would
if
like
he
that.
if you level him up enough and he evolves, he might become big enough to ride. So
That's true. I mean, yeah. No, Coriander has demonstrated she really enjoys and gets on with animals so far. But I think mostly she doesn't want to wake this dog.
the dog is a werebear.
Aw, that would be a very tidy, actually, full circle. Of,
Yeah, I know. And the Shire adventures are over.
yeah.
It's like a
We've
double
completed
fake
everything.
out. First we think, oh no, there's a bear sleeping in there. Then it turns out to be a tiny dog, but the tiny dog was a big bear all along.
That I God, I really actually want that to be what has happened. Like that is really good.
Does Titch think that there might be a bear inside of there still?
Inside of the house?
Yeah.
No.
Did you think that? Did Titch think that at any point with the snoring? Because he heard the snoring, right?
Yeah, he did. But I think that Titch, maybe his ears being higher up off the ground or something. I don't care how Arv described it. Terriers do not sound like that. You know,
Well, maybe it's sick. It's a
Maybe.
sick little terrier.
maybe.
No, he fell asleep on top of like a guitar body or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like
It's
has
like
like
echoing.
resonator.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I was not expecting to get a
Yeah, we
10-minute
solved
harangue.
your
My
puzzle.
apologies.
We won.
Um,
We caught the bear and the
Oh
map.
no, harangue!
Yeah, it's
Turned out
just-
the bear was the map all along.
not to me. It was about my son. So anyway, I will deal with it later. So you
Well, you'll
solved.
be pleased to know we've actually solved the whole problem.
Oh, yeah?
We left without waking the dog. It's all fine. So I'll
We're all level
It's a
23.
DM anyway.
Level 23. You leveled up all on this dog. You just took turns petting it and you gained a level every time. And yeah, that's...
You know how in Monsters Inc. it turns out that, sorry, spoilers for this film that is 20 years old at this point.
Right, yeah.
It turns out in Monsters Inc., they think that the screams of children being afraid are the only way they can power their society. But it turns out that laughter is even more powerful. And by that same token, petting a dog instead of fighting a dog is like times 10 XP. Every time you pet a dog, just level up.
That's why everybody's
moon
asking,
level.
you can pet the dog in the video games. That's why they want to know that. Can I pet the dog?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
they're like, and devs don't want to put it in there because it would just be too much of a game breaker.
That's-
Like, why play the game? Just pet a dog once you won.
That's
In
true.
earlier superior iterations of Adventures in Middle Earth, every time you pet a dog successfully, you could diminish your shadow points by 1.
Oh,
my
interesting.
god, that would actually be unironically the best thing.
I'm waiting for a game where you actually pet a dog, and the question is, do we get any role play in the dog petting simulator? That is part of this. Can you role play and get experience in a dog petting simulator?
There's some justification for that because they've got like Power Wash Simulator and whatnot, and you
Right.
can just have Animal Grooming Simulator.
Animal grooming simulator.
And-
I could imagine that. Yes, I can imagine that coming. Anyway,
Did nobody here grow up owning a DS? Like, Nintendogs
No,
was a thing, and
I
before
didn't.
that on the PC there was like the game Dogs with a Z.
I do remember dogs. Yes, I do
Yeah.
remember that. All right, let's get back into this, folks. Since I know we
yes,
have our
question
we're up against
while we
this.
are on
Yes,
that.
go ahead.
And that is the thing. Is there any kind of plant like valerian, but like that works faster than valerian? Like the idea is, can we like basically roofie the dog into not?
Yeah.
Can you roofie the dog? So, I mean, yeah, the short answer is yes, there certainly is stuff that would be like that. The longer answer would be, can you track it down and find it? I mean, you
Or
obviously...
do I have it already?
I don't think you would. It's not that common.
Don't
Because,
you
like,
think Granny
why would
needs
you
to regularly
need...
roofie people?
I was just gonna say that. I was like, "What is there a reason that Granny would always just be like, I always keep things
Well,
to
like-
roofie people just in case? Like, is that how this
Or
works?
for herself.
Like-
Maybe she needs help
Yeah,
getting to sleep.
sometimes I need to
Valium.
roofie
Just straight
myself. I
Valium.
just need it, like really?
Valium is not a herb, right?
Listen,
no, Valium is not an herb. No, it is not.
That's its elvish name.
Oh,
Wow.
it's great.
Wow.
Is it an elephant name or is it a drug? That whole
Yeah.
thing.
We are sailing to the west to
We're sailing to
Valium.
the west. I will say, if anyone wants a herbal sleep aid, I highly recommend a combination of hops and chamomile.
Yes.
Hops extremely good for just getting a good deep sleep.
Yep. My
Beer.
mom gave me the chamomile
Thank
tea
you.
knowledge, the chamomile lore. That's true.
Mm.
She's an old woman. She's got the ancient version of NyQuil. I mean, like, anyway. So now the
Which
bigger
in
question
Elven
is
is Nyquilian. Go ahead. Sorry.
Nyquilian. So the question is, Coriander is in this first floor, and you had asked me about where the levels were. I talked about that. You can also see the door, the locked door, where you are. And once you tell me what you're doing, I'm going to find out what Cal and Granny are doing before I come to Titch.
Well, is the map actually visible from where I am?
The map does not appear to be visible yet. No, it may not be in this room, or you may need to find it elsewhere. And if you wish to do so, you can try to search for the map, but you will have to do so quietly.
Great. Okay. I think, and so the dog is between Coriander and the door presently, under or something, but
No, the dog is under a writing desk, and the door is actually not on the opposite wall, but kind of to the side, so you don't have to go past the writing desk to open the door.
oh, okay, great. So yeah, Coriander is going to actually go over to the door
Okay.
and unlock it.
You can do that. In fact, there is a slight wooden bar, slight meaning like literally not very thick, but it is a wooden bar on this side that you have to lift. As you lift the bar, I am going to ask you to make a stealth check. It's a very easy stealth check, though.
Oh, sure. Stealth
But,
check.
don't crit fail.
Okay. Oh my
I'll
goodness.
throw the board back, hit the dog in the face,
Well, if the dog is dead, he can't scream, right?
No.
Wow. What is the deal, Tara? You trying
Oh
to kill
my
the
God.
owl, and you're trying to kill the dog? Like,
Wow.
I'm
You told me
sleep
not to
deprived
crit fail,
and on
but-
coffee. Leave me alone.
it was not a crit fail. It's over a 10, which is okay. So you're able to open it, and Cal and Granny, you hear on the other side there's like something scraping, and then what?
Before she lets them in,
Yeah.
she like my vision for this, if it works, is she'll unlatch the door and she'll poke her head out and she'll say,
I can't hear you. No.
Yeah.
What did you say? Say.
Like Granny leans in, like with her both hands on her walking stick. Dearie, I'm a bit old. I don't hear that well anymore.
Cal, you might have heard that. You could probably hear Coriander. You could translate if you wish.
Yeah. I'll
And
speak
just so
quietly
Mal
into-
knows, when you lean in that close, your microphone doesn't really pick you up that well. So we've got about every
literally
third
was like-
syllable. I know what you said because
Okay.
I'm pretty good at reading lips.
It was
but
good. It was
Alright.
Granny.
Like
It was Granny
Lavender shoes.
POV. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, like brackets whispering.
Yes.
There's a dog. It's asleep. What she says.
Okay.
There's a sleeping dog. Anyway, actually, you know, I'm sort of wondering, she's unlatched the door. I think she might actually just like slip outside in order to talk to them and say, like,
Can do that.
so it's fine. So dropping down, very easy actually. But unfortunately, there seems to be a dog, and he's sleeping, he's snoring a little bit, looks very cute. But he might wake up, and I think you know how there are some dogs who, when they wake up, they are friendly and wag their tails and pant their tongues. I don't think this is that kind of dog. I think this is one of the other kinds of dog that when they wake up, they make sharp barks all the time. And I just don't think we should wake it up. I think that we should try to make sure it stays asleep. And so I wonder if either we can put the dog to sleep, or if you want to distract it somehow, I could search for the map and be out.
All this, by the way, against the backdrop from inside. You can hear the snoring faintly. It's a large snore for a not particularly large dog.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Cal
like we
says-
determined while you were gone. He's like probably sleeping on top of a guitar or something that's like working as a resonance chamber for
Oh,
the snoring to
Yeah.
amplify it.
Whoa. That's pretty funny. No, but I will say that it's one of those writing desks that has the so you know, it's got like the hutch, the rolly thing, the you know what I'm talking about, the thing that the
Yes.
flexible door that comes over the top, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
below-
yeah.
The roll top desk.
The roll top desk, yes, thank you. And then it's got below sort of three sides, back and front. So in a way, it is almost like an echo chamber. Like it is kind of echoing. The snoring is echoing off the three walls of its den, so to speak, and then is flying out into the room. So it is a little bit amplified.
Oh,
the
wait a
first
second.
choice is to
there's
put
a
the
ledge.
dog to
What
sleep.
if there's like a bigger dog inside the desk?
Or inside firework.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No,
That's
no,
a
that's
heavy
also
meal.
something we considered, is that the dog is actually a werebear. That
Yeah.
was all a double fake out.
I mean,
I think that would be truly the most narratively satisfying outcome. Anyway,
There
so
are werewolves in Tolkien's work, and beyond can shapeshift into a bear.
Maybe the dog is like a dog of holding, and it will like open its mouth, and like a much larger dog will jump out.
oh, like those Ms. Marvel, what are they called?
oh
Or
my god.
yeah.
Holding.
the cat.
Oh, the flirkin.
That's the one.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
Listen, I've had dogs that were essentially dogs of holding, given what they could eat.
Yeah, I
that's
was about to say.
pretty much. So you can hear
Anyway.
that snoring in the background.
Yeah, so Cal says, I'm worried about any more than one of us going inside of there unless we have a good solution to maybe keep the dog napping. I wonder if another option might be for Coriander to find the map, bring it back out, and we'll copy it here, and then you'll have to put the fake back where it was.
And she just runs away to go and look for it.
I hope that's
I'm
a
like-
sneaky
like,
running.
I just get the first little bit out, and you're like, "Phew,"
Yeah.
a little cloud of dust
Exactly.
where she was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you but back inside? Is that,
Yeah.
is that okay? With the door still open, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
With the door unlocked. Yeah.
Door unlocked.
A
Okay.
little bit ajar.
Like a pebble wedged in between so it doesn't fall into the lock.
So before I come back to Coriander, let me ask Cal and Granny what they're doing, and then Titch, I'm going to come to you next. What have you decided to do as Coriander? Like
Yeah, she heads
Well, I
back in.
guess hide in case guards come by.
I'm going to
keep a
crouch
lookout.
beside the door and look through the crack, just to be ready in case Coriander needs help.
Okay, let me have you make a perception check for me, Cal, just to see how much you're able to see. And Granny, you're going to hide anywhere in particular?
Well, I don't know
Sure.
the layout of this place as a player, so just like whichever place seems convenient from where I'm standing.
There are a few bushes by the Matham house that you could theoretically hide behind or within.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, you could do that. I have this image, by the way, of you on your cane with just Granny's hair, just like right over the top of the bush, and just like out there. What, is that a bush? Anyway, okay, so you're gonna do that. Cal, you
The
see
door is really just barely
Yeah,
cracked
just
open.
barely. You're just kinda
I
like,
see, I
what?
see very little right now.
you could see a little like sliver of light maybe from within.
I do try to, I don't know if I can see the dog from my angle, but I do try to get my eye on it to see if it's like noticed her or something like
Can't
that.
see it because of where the desk is and where you are. You can see the wall of the desk, and you can hear this. You can now, looking like where you are right at the crack, you can hear the sound of the dog coming from the resonant chamber
All right.
of the white writing. So you
Yeah.
can definitely hear
All
it.
right. So unable to see it, I will just literally put my ear up to the crack, just to, and I'm just noting any difference in the cadence of the dog's snoring.
Okay.
And if I notice something, then I'll make a move then.
That sounds like a plan. I will come back to that. I want to go up to Titch. You are currently standing at the crossroads, as it were, of the main road and the stone path that leads to the Matham house. Now, and Titch, I know you said you were waiting where you were told to wait, but what are you doing as you're doing that? Like, other than just holding your spear?
He's baring his arms
Yeah.
Right, he's doing the
with a
guard
grizzled
thing. He's
expression.
constantly monitoring.
Bearing his arms
he's
against an armed bear.
being a guard.
Yeah.
He's just doing what he usually does for work. He's just doing it here
No,
instead
just
of on
like
the Wally Bree.
So,
Oh, he's-
Titch, you see, as you're coming
pug brain
along,
rot.
as you're standing there, you see what look like two fairly well armed for hobbits. So, leather tunics,
Not
wooden,
four-armed
stiff wooden
hobbits.
clubs. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Fairly well armed. No, they have just good arms. These arms are very well. It's walking in your direction. And down the road. And as they come to you, they sort of nod, and then one of them says, can I ask what you're doing out, sir? It's nighttime. Most people are supposed to be inside at this time of night.
Yes, I understand that. I was instructed by the previous guard to stay here and stand watch.
Oh, all right. Stand watch for... Oh, because of the Matham house. Right.
No, because of the bear.
The what now?
Bear. I was sent from Bree to check on reports from a bear, but
And the two look at each other kind of like kind of, and the other one says, you say he's a bear?
well, that's what we were told. There was an official report from the Shire to Bree saying we've seen reports, indications, evidence of a bear traveling around out here. It's much bigger than we can handle. Could you please send some help? So my bosses back in Bree told me to come out here, see if this is actually a thing that we're going to have to send a larger contingent for. But so far, no one has given me any answers.
Well, and the second one who had spoken to you was like, right, so, and he looks over at his companion who kind of looks uncomfortable, and the other bounder, right, when did this request come in for you to come check out the bear situation?
I would have arrived in Bree 2 days ago.
Right. So maybe you ought to come with us. We can solve this problem for you. And the other one says, "Yeah, it's the problem. We can solve it." They look exceedingly uncomfortable, like not uncomfortable like they're trying to fool you, uncomfortable like, oh crap, like sort of thing. It's just the town hall would have your answers, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought the little dog actually was gonna be the bear. Like them going, oh yeah, like somebody thought this thing was a bear because of its loud snore.
Still time.
Do you take your job seriously, sir?
Oh, of course we do. You can see that. We're very proud of them. That's why we do. We didn't send the message to Bree, but we heard about it.
That's not what I mean.
Oh.
What I mean is, are you of higher authority than the guard who told me to stay here?
Oh,
and
if he was a
spend watch?
bounder like us, then we're all pretty much the same. It's only the head of it, the person who's the head of Michel Delving here. He's in charge of everything. He's the sheriff, and he's the head of the security. And you might have heard of him. And they start going through the litany of things that he actually leads, which is what the other guard had told you about as well.
So he told me, the other guard, the previous member of the patrol, told me to stay here and keep watch. Now you're telling me to abandon my post. I also take my job very seriously, sir. What should I do?
How about this? What if we have my friend here, and it's the other bounder, what if he takes up a spot, stays where you are, so your guard post is all right, and then you and I go back to the town hall, which is only about 5 minutes inside town, and we can put your fears at rest, as it were, and give you the report that you need. And he'd be fine just sort of standing out here and covering your guard position. I'd say that might be the best thing to do. That way you can actually get the answers you need. And the other one kind of nods. He's like, "Oh, I can do that. No one will get past me." Kind of looks around. Now, they do look like they were dressed like the other bounder that you spoke to, for what that's worth.
Doesn't quite address my question. You are asking me to abandon my post. I don't care if someone else is taking over the position. I don't know you, gentlemen.
No, but it's a guard shift change. Surely you have guard shift changes at Bree? It's a shift change. My friend here's taking over the shift, and you're coming with us. It's not abandoning it. I'm going to take you, and he's going to stay here. You stay here. Make sure he doesn't leave. No, sorry, he doesn't say that. But he says, but you're not abandoning your post. And this is the reason you came here in the first place, he said. So my friend here's he's a bounder we patrol this area anyway.
And you've seen no evidence of a bear yourself or heard reports of it?
No, I have, but it's the kind of bear that we're talking. It's hard to explain. You'll see. And he looks like helplessly gestures in the direction of the town hall, which you can see the little twinkling lights of very close.
And he looks extremely doubtful.
Yeah.
No, you're giving me no sense of confidence in why you are asking me to leave.
Well,
you say that there's it, but you won't tell me what it is.
Oh, well,
you won't give me anything.
It's complicated. It's look. All right, so it's like this, right? And he kind of drops his voice. All right, look, I appreciate it if you wouldn't go spreading this around everywhere, because it's kind of embarrassing. All right, so my cousin, his name is Bargo. Bargo's he's always been a little bit of a kind of the black sheep of the family, you understand? Like
looking for a sheep.
Well, he's not that kind of sheep. Anyway, he likes to play tricks sometimes, and he got mad at the sheriff, and because the sheriff told him to clear off one day because he had taken a couple of potatoes he wasn't supposed to, and he got mad at him, and he told me that he was going to make sure the sheriff would have some real things to worry about. So he kind of made a he took a broom handle, see, and he put this kind of this couple of shirts, and he wrapped them up all nice, right? And he made the things stick out like claws, see, and then he went after a rainstorm around the sheriff's place, and he put the broom with the clothing and made them look like bear tracks, and he made them go all through the town and around the house, and so the sheriff saw it and practically jumped out of his britches, and he sent someone immediately off to Bree because it was a big bear, and so then when that happened, he found out a day after he sent the first messenger about what happened, and my cousin right now is in the he's in the holding cell at the town hall, and his friend is sort of looking with his arms folded, listening to this, the other bounder, and then the other bounder says, "Right, and tell him what his middle name is." Well, it was after my mother's second cousin, and the friend is like, "What was his name?" It's Bear. And
You
everyone,
just got pranked, bro.
they all just stare at you.
And Titch is just staring right. He is not buying this shit at all. And
Well, you could do an insight check if you want, but this guy is sure telling a hell of a lie if that's what he's doing. You get the impression that he is like,
because Titch is certain that if this was the sort of thing, and he found out, like the head honcho found out that, oh, this was all a bullshit prank, that he would have immediately sent somebody again, and Titch would have run into them on the road. This
Right.
is Titch's thinking.
that's true. Oh yeah.
There's no way.
And I don't want to force you to do an insight, but I'm gathering that Titch would probably do one anyway, just to be on the safe side. This story sounded like it was going to get a lot darker flying enemy. So then he, killed him and rose as a bear,
Okay, sorry. I was just double checking my.
I was like, what?
It's my friendly and familiar trait, which says my proficiency bonus is doubled for any insight check that I make. In addition, I have advantage on charisma persuasion checks when dealing with dwarves and hobbits and blah blah blah.
Right.
But this means that my insight check will be a little higher than normal. So
Is that an 8 that I see?
Let's see.
let me double check this. Make sure
And
I got
also,
this
I
right.
should say, while you're looking,
Mhm.
that I want to make sure I put. There is a feature that may also help with this, and that is.
And that is more coffee. I will be right back.
Yeah.
You can spend a point of fellowship, Titch, if you wanted to gain advantage on this. This is what I was looking for. This is one of the new mechanics of Lord of the Rings
Oh,
Roleplaying
yeah.
5e.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've forgotten.
And I mentioned it because Titch actually is the one who gives you an extra fellowship point because of that, friendly and familiar.
Yeah.
How many fellowship points do we have?
You start. Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember what Let me see. 6. So you have a number of them.
Was that raised to 7 because of Titch, or?
No, it was at 5 and then was raised
okay.
up to 6.
I feel like we have we actually spent any yet?
You have not.
Okay.
You thought about it at the river, but you decided
That's
not
right.
to.
Okay.
I can use the fellowship point for what?
You could use it to get advantage if you wish.
Oh.
And normally I would not post facto it, but this is actually like dead on center. One of the things a fellowship point would be used for someone with the friendly and familiar trait. So that's why I'm mentioning it.
All right. Well, with Terry away from the keyboard, what do the two of you say?
To using a fellowship point.
Whether or not I'm allowed to use it.
I mean, I think you're allowed to.
I don't mean whether or not
Yeah.
it's like my rules. I mean, are you guys okay with me using it?
For this insight check.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel God. I so badly want to see Titch's arc essentially conclude. I am all for it.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to see, how do we check inspiration again?
Inspiration. Exclamation point. Inspiration -have will tell you if that's there. Theoden failed to use a fellowship point at the Battle of the Bellador Fields. That's quite true. If he had used one, this would never have happened.
The reason I'm asking is because I am fine with going with the 8. If
Well,
people like,
And you do have one, Amel, yeah.
Yeah, I do. Okay. So I've got one.
because you guys know I love.
I know.
Rolls. It's just.
Well, here's the thing. I'm debating. What I'm pondering is actually inspiring Titch here instead of using the fellowship point. Because we're only going to play one time this month, and yes, I'm going to just inspire Titch.
Okay.
I feel like that's what I want to do. So.
Okay. That seems reasonable. So.
Then 21.
Okay. So, thank you, Amel.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so it is very clear to you, Titch, that this guy, and you can tell this partially from the reaction of the other bounder. This guy is obviously telling you the truth, is horrifically embarrassed about it, and quite obviously this has been already the subject of several angry dinner conversations, if you had to guess, like around the table about Balco, I believe is what I called him.
Bargo.
Bargo, sorry.
Bargo.
Balco should be a 2. Yeah, Bargo, his cousin, who's currently sitting in the town jail, so to speak.
Because I was going to try to figure out a way to work out embargo as a as a joke, but I couldn't.
Lincoln in the Bargo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it seems like that's exactly what this is. So if you had to guess.
Yeah. He's not having it. He just locks back up at Sentry and is like, as my grandfather used to say, bad news will keep until morning, and if it's good news will keep until morning. If it's bad news, there's no point in waking me up for it anyway.
And they both look at you and blink a couple of times, and they're like, "So you want to stay here?"
I'm staying here at my post.
All right. I suppose that's true. We're just gonna do our usual, around the perimeter of the Matham house, and we'll be on our way. And they set off down the stone path past you. Now, are you going to just stand there and wait, and then the spear starts shaking, and then you're like, well, damn it? Or are you going to yell after them and just, okay, all right.
I am going to yell after them and wait for them to get a little bit further away.
Okay, so they do that, and then...
About halfway between me and the house.
Okay.
And then I will turn back to look at them and say, and if you see a bear, come and let me know. And I make sure I project enough that the rest of them can hear me.
So you
calling
hear
back.
that, I think, even without a check. Cal and Granny, you can both hear this. If you see a bear, kind of, and if you look in the direction of it, both of you can see, Cal from your position by the door and Granny from your position in the bush. You can see these two bounders, clearly, halflings with clubs walking towards you.
Yeah, I will move towards the bushes immediately.
Okay. I will need stealth checks from you and Granny, and then I'm coming to Coriander to see how we're doing inside the house. So can I get stealth checks from the two of you, please?
I am gonna do a thing first.
Okay, the power of 12. We shall see. I think I have a way to describe that. Yes, I
Gotta
think
give
I do have
myself
one of those
inspiration.
left. All right.
I saved for this for so long.
But remember, you
You
can't
have
inspire
no
yourself though. You can inspire Cal if you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
inspire
I
yourself.
inspire Cal then.
And Cal, you don't have to use it on that if you want to, but you can.
Yeah, I don't want to be caught this early, so
Okay.
yeah, I will.
Okay. So Granny, then are you going to do your own stealth check separately? Okay. So with that 8.
Well, apparently that inspiration would have not done much anyway.
So the way I think this works narratively is that Cal sort of not in a panic, but just, quickly moves over and you're like, at this bush, like, and then you push enough that you realize that what you've been pushing against is actually not a bush, but a halfling.
Granny?
And Granny takes several
I push her
steps
over so
forward.
she rolls.
Not quite, but you take several steps forward. So Granny, like, pitch forward, catch yourself on your walking stick, and look up to see the two bounders kind of like staring at you. And while you're thinking about that, let's talk about what's happening with Coriander. Inside the Matham house, Coriander, you are looking for this map, and it would have been nice, it occurs to you, if they had been more clear about what exactly map we're talking about, because there's lots of map, but you're sure they're not the one that your uncle described to you. So I need you to make for me, please, a investigation check
Cool.
as you're looking around and through. Got it. Yeah, thanks, Rudnell. That's good timing, actually.
Well, the month is almost over.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's good timing.
Exactly.
Good time to use it up.
So, investigation. Now,
Oh boy.
yeah.
You
So she's
meant
not
agility,
great at-
right? No, acrobatics.
Yeah. So she's actually not great at investigation. So if anyone did want to inspire Coriander in this role, that would be much appreciated, as this is not something she's super proficient at.
So Chad, it's these folks, an expedition from the mysterious peaks. So you can describe whatever is not working. If you don't have an inspiration for them, you can tell them why. No, you can definitely use this for these folks. It is the only time they did this per month. So you can feel free to inspire if you wish. And I think, Tren does have one. I will say, and Tren is not in expedition, so he doesn't have to worry about people getting mad at him.
They can
Well, they
still
might get
mad.
mad. Yeah.
That's true. They could. But you also can do whatever you like with that Tren.
Although, again, this is an instance where, having been reintroduced to the fellowship point.
That's also true, but you should do it ahead of time, whatever you choose
Yes,
to do.
exactly. So if there are no inspirations going, I would like to petition the group to say, I think I would like to spend a fellowship point for this search.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Like, first of all, this is like literally our main quest, and second of all, this is like
Nope.
Precisely.
probably the most likely the finale of this chapter. So
Okay.
That's
Inshallah.
right.
Here we go.
I note that Flying Enemy says it should be impossible for a Took to investigate anything or complete a Sudoku without wandering away. So, boy, it is a good thing you used an inspiration on that. Good use of fellowship points.
Woohoo!
Not enough, but good use. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Still a fail. No. That's a good thought, Arudnell, and I'll think about that. Remind me when Shadow's around, because I want to make sure that I ask Shadow about the possibilities of that. Okay. So as you're searching around and you're doing so, trying to do so quietly, you finally find, and this takes a good, I would say, 15 minutes. In fact, so much so that I will come back to the others to see whether what I'm about to describe cannot happen ex post facto. But behind on the last bookshelf, because I'm sure, Coriander, you find everything fascinating, but I don't know whether, like, the musty, dusty book thing is really your line, quite as much. And so as you're, like, pulling things out carefully, and every so often there's this, as, like, a book falls over, right, or almost falls over, and, like, you're sliding things through. Buried behind a stack of cookbooks on the bottom shelf of one of the bookcases, you find a folded... actually large something or other which has been folded. And if you tell me if you want to carefully open it, do you? I don't want to assume, but you find this thing because it's the only one that you found like this. And when you unfold it, it is a considerably sized map, which does in fact look exactly like what Bilbo described to you. Despite the fact that it's creased, it's in fairly good shape.
can I just say, Coriander's hands are trembling slightly as she looks at this map and takes in the state in which it was being kept. Creased, folded,
Oh,
Sal is
dusty.
affronted outside. He feels this from far.
a disturbance in the force, right? He's like,
Coriander's like, truly, if she were a furred creature, she would be bristling.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
would
yeah.
be puffed up like a sparrow in
Her
indignation.
her feet is
yeah, right, exactly.
Just like, but she is so indignant at the state in which this precious object is being kept. Her uncle clearly was absolutely correct about the frankly indifferent conditions in which this heirloom is being stored. This map does not belong here. This map belongs in the hands of someone who will cherish it and take good care of it. And she very gently, very delicately blows the dust off of it, and tries to figures out, because she's very nimble, the best way to keep it from any further harm on her person, whether that's keeping it flat or whether that is
I was about to say, so
pulling it or
let me talk about that. I also want to note Uberjaeger's comment. Her sharp intake of breath sucks in a lungful of dust older than she is. Like just at this image. Okay, so here's the thing. Now to do this, Coriander, you're gonna have to be careful because this map is a good size. In fact, I will use this example to show off something which I happen to have on my wall. Whoops! Look, I've shown. It is a very good size map. And so to be able to actually carry it in the way that you've described, you'll have to do one of three possible things. Two of them will result in horror from chat, I predict. And one of them is perhaps more possible. I'll leave it up to you as to what you actually want to do. Choice one is you fold it again. Like another time. You know what I'm saying? Like... Right, I know. It physically pains me to say it, but I'm just... So that's one option. A second option,
You
this
cut
is
it
the one...
into pieces.
I was just about to say, you just cut it and then you re-glue it. Like,
Yeah.
exactly, like there's that thing. There's that. Or the last one is what, as Uberjaeger suggested in chat, you could roll it. And if you roll a map, which as we know is actually the way to sort of keep it, it will not be creased in the same way.
Are there any empty poster tubes lying around?
Sadly not. But there are a couple of things that you could see, like even on the... Well, and I'll tell you this, Coriander. You could roll it, and on the writing desk, you see there is some ribbon.
I was actually, literally before you said that, I was going to say that she could pull ribbon out of her hair in order to wrap it
Or
with.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's what she would do. So it is on the same floor though as everything.
It is on the same floor. Yes.
Okay. That is what she's going to do. She's going to very nimbly and delicately and lovingly roll it. She's going to take a ribbon out of her hair very tenderly and intimately wrap it up as if binding a wound, and just and just
as you're rolling this map, I will need a stealth check from you. It is
I shall, but I'm not finished describing.
No, that's fine. Please describe the more lovingness of it. Yes.
Yes. It just she actually does whisper under her breath, very gently, "You're safe now. You're coming home." And then and sure, now I'll do a stealth check. Okay.
Yeah, Tari is demonstrating as you're doing this, just like.
Yeah, but this is not a map. This is some Star Wars.
Oh well, geez, like really, immersion broken. All right, listen.
Well, I'm so
I
sorry.
have a lot
I
of maps, but
have
none at my desk. Like none in arm's reach, sadly. But I do have an empty scroll tube, so can I just like shove that into the camera and then it will plop out in the game?
Yeah, it doesn't usually work that way. Okay.
Oh boy!
So you do it and you get about halfway, like, and then you sort of, and when you get to the crease, you kind of like, and you hear, and you hear the dog. It stirred, and its snoring changed a note, to quote a certain book I know. But it did not wake up yet. But I do need another stealth check to get to the other side of this roll.
Amal, there's something in front of your camera, like a hair or something.
It's from when she blew the dust off the thing. It
Yeah,
went
that's what happened.
right up in front of the camera.
Oh, God. Yeah, so it did. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. This
I was
is
like-
immersion.
I was like,
Right.
your object work is amazing.
Yeah, no, I know. No, it's for the immersion, and I'm also just
Yeah.
increasing in that same interest. I want to make sure that the picture reflects the level of danger, chat. So I just want to be clear.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem. I do what I can. Like it.
It gets more horrifying because
Yeah,
it's so
Corey
pixelated.
Anders says whisper like Stewie says whip.
Whip. Cool whip.
Oh,
So-
God.
Saying
Okay.
that Will Wheaton is probably a really nice guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, another. So actually, before I make another stealth check, can I make a perception check to know what's going on outside?
Yes. What are you listening for, though, or sort of like, are you just listening for sound, or?
Well, I'm
anything
wondering
about
if she would have heard
Listening
Titch.
for colors.
She didn't. No, definitely not, and I'll tell you why. Because is covering over that sound,
Okay.
and you were inside the house, obviously. So there's that.
Yeah.
But you hear a faint. Woo.
Right.
Back. It's gonna follow us from now on.
Yeah, no, it'll be your spirit owls for now.
Yeah,
Oh God.
we're familiar. The party familiar.
Mm.
Oh man, I want that.
It'd be great to have a party owl. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I start that way, and then guess what happens 3 months from now? I think our owl would have heard the ambush and would have like that's how this goes down later
Hey,
on.
hey,
Did you
can
know-
the owl carry the horse?
Yeah.
Did you know that owls have asymmetrical ear holes, which allow them to pinpoint precisely where a rodent moving under 3 feet of snow might perhaps be, because that's how good their hearing is?
I did not know that, but every time I learn something new about an owl, I'm more impressed. Like every time I'm
Very,
like,
very
wow,
cool.
that's the most awesome thing I've ever heard. That's cool.
Completely silent flight.
Yep.
Can't hear an owl coming.
Can turn their necks 720 degrees. No, I'm just kidding. That number gets higher and higher. It's like, did you know you
Yeah.
can turn their head around 3 times? Like, no,
It's
that's
like
not.
Death Blossom.
Death blossom.
Anyway, yeah, no, so
Okay.
I'm actually wondering,
Could try to call for an
yeah,
inspiration
so-
on this one if you want, but it
no,
definitely
no.
seemed to
So
not
yeah, so
work.
so I want to do perception check. She basically just wants to know like whether
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I just want something. Okay, I'm not going to say it in case it needs to happen.
Right.
So anyway, Trent just said something very funny, which may or may not become relevant. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to know, like, she like just wants to see if she can hear Caloran or Granny outside moving.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Basically, she's trying to. I'll tell you why. To be further clear, she is debating whether it is easier for her to get out by climbing the rope again,
Mhm.
or by going out the front door based on proximity to dog.
Okay.
So-
So, and we'll work this out time wise in terms of when this is happening, but I have it in my head. Let's start with your perception check. Let's see if you did hear anything at all.
Probably not.
Not so much.
Okay.
What you
Lots
do hear
of
is a snoring
snoring.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very loud. This dog. Again, the writing desk, amazing. You know, the opposite of a isolation booth. Just you know,
Right.
it's just really. Okay.
Just a hearing trumpet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
So, are you going to roll it the rest of the way with the stealth check, Coriander?
Stealth check. Yes. Do I need to say what she's doing at this point, just moving quietly?
I was assuming the same thing, but I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. As what you did the first time, like carefully rolling it with care and precision. And
Oh, I thought she'd finished rolling.
no, that was only
No.
no. That you would have had you passed the stealth check, but you did not.
I see. Okay, let's do it again. Yes, exactly the
You're
same.
halfway through. Ah,
Much better.
20.
so that yes. So now you're like, with your heart in your mouth, so to speak. You finish up the rest very quietly, and then put the ribbon over it. Now you are holding this still fairly longish roll, but it is now a long roll as opposed to a flat thing that would flop around.
Yeah.
So.
Can she so Coriander is a hobbit. She's I forget how many feet tall. I'm wondering if she can poke it down like the back of her jacket.
Yes, but it will stick up above her head, which will be awesome. I just want that to be noted.
But can she put a cloak over it?
Yeah, but it's gonna go like that. I mean, yes,
Yeah, but-
it's gonna go.
Yeah.
It'll go like that, but yes, that's the best.
That's what I want. Okay. Amazing.
How are you exiting the building or attempting to exit?
Okay, so I kind of so it would make a lot they had planned to go out the front door, right? So that Cal could fix do his map thingy.
Mm-hmm.
However, the state of neglect that the map was in makes her think that maybe that's not necessary anymore. But she is going to still go to the front door, unless it is easier to avoid the dog by climbing the rope again.
The easiest way to avoid the dog would probably be to go to the side door. The second easiest is going up the rope if you make the dexterity check to do it. The third easiest would be going out the front door, because you're going to have to go, past the writing desk and next to this towering stack of books on either side.
And the side door is the one that I opened.
The
right?
side door is the one you opened, right? That's the one that Cal and Granny are allegedly in front of, although we're about to find out where they are in just a moment.
Okay, Coriander is going to creep up over to that door, and she's going to peek out. She is aware that there are guards walking the perimeter. They did say that.
They did say that in general terms. Yes.
Yeah, she doesn't know that they are there, but she is gonna still try to be sneaky. So she's just gonna go up to the door and kind of peek.
We're going to talk about what you see. Actually, make a stealth check while you go over there. This is both for the dog and also what the door situation. Yeah, that's right, Arudnell. They're not pixies. They're not 1.5 feet. They're more somewhere between 3 3/4 to 4 feet, maybe. Okay. Yeah, I think you're able to make your way over. Let's talk about what it is you see when you open, or when you were sort of peeking through the door, because as this has been going on, Cal and Granny have been, Cal has been inside a bush and taking the spot previously held by Granny, who is currently in front of these two bounders. Now, Granny, I'm going to start with you. The two bounders are looking down at you, and one of them has an eyebrow raised and is like, yes, miss, who exactly, if you don't mind my asking, are you, and why are you outside the Matham house at night? And why did you just come from that bush?
That would be Mrs. to you. Thank you very much.
Apologies, ma'am. Didn't mean to make that sound quite so southern. I apologize. Apologies. Apologies, ma'am. I didn't mean it. We here in this town don't much like people who jump out of bushes, and I.
Lots of countries have a south.
Well, I didn't jump, did I?
Right. Yes, sir. No, they none of what I said southern-wise was true. So anyway, they changed Mrs. Go ahead, Cal.
Cal sort of steps towards her. Pardon me.
Lavender.
Granny Lavender stumbled a bit. Are you okay, Granny?
Yes.
Oh, and who are you?
I think I got a splinter in my foot.
The other bounder points at you, Cal. And who are you? What are you doing in a bush by the Matham house?
We're out looking for a friend of ours. We seem to have lost him. I'm hoping that maybe you've seen him. I understand you're bounders. We met a few of you before, and we've unfortunately lost our friend Titch.
And they look at you and they go, in a bush?
Oh, no. We were just looking along this area, and Granny happened to slip and hurt her ankle. I was just helping her up. But Titch is, how do I put this? He's a bit obsessed, I'm afraid, about a bear. And
they look at each
I'm
other.
worried over him over time, and he keeps sneaking out at night to look for it. And we're wondering if you've seen him, perhaps.
And the two sort of look at each other and they're like, oh, it's this thing about a bear again. Oh, he's just standing by a bush. All right. Look, the two of you come with us. We'll see if we might have seen your friend Titch, but we got to ask some questions. Now, one of them sort of goes over gently. They're not going to force you, but kind of gently to escort you towards the place where Titch is supposedly standing, at least where you left him. The other one is like, right, I'll just check and make sure the doors are all right. And the other one is heading towards the side door.
Amazing. So is that what I see?
Nope, not yet. You're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
This is right now. This is you going while the dog is there.
Gotcha.
And Granny's pouring one out because this is rude.
Yeah, so I moved to, I mean, are they kind of in front of us moving towards?
One of them is sort of next to you, and the other one is kind of moving towards the door. I mean, not very fast, but...
Towards the, I'm going to move to Granny's side and kind of help her, but I'm if the guy's close enough, I'm going to sort of move in his way a little bit as I'm helping Granny, theoretically. I'm just trying to stall and say, well, I mean, you go ahead and look, and I mean, do you know where Titch is? Is that what you're saying? I say to the other guy.
Okay, and the other one's like, right, okay, I need you to make what I was
trying to stall him a little bit.
Yeah, no, I get it. Make a dexterity check for me, please. Let's see if you can interpose.
Also, Granny is gonna fake a limp.
Okay.
Also, if you want to use a fellowship point, go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could definitely do a fellowship point for this, Cal, if you
No,
want.
I was promised an inspiration at midnight.
Oh.
I do have a sleight of hand. If I'm not sure what this check is for exactly.
No, this is a straight dexterity check. What you're trying to do is basically maneuver yourself so that you can stall in without making it seem like you're like, no, elbow, to the side type of thing.
Yeah. If I have like acting or anything like that.
Yeah, it's I don't think.
Okay. So it's not the saving throw. It's like the.
Correct. It's just a check. It's just a straight dexterity check.
Yeah, I guess I'll use a fellowship point just so.
Seems reasonable.
Just click on the word dexterity above your.
And you're basically doing that at advantage because of the.
Aha!
That's good. That's the second time a fellowship point has worked really well. So yeah, so you kind of and the guy and sort of like almost falls over a little bit. Sorry. What are you doing? What are you doing?
No,
they stop and look back at
you. To bump into you. I'm just. Granny is very fragile. I say kind of quietly.
Fragile, you say? He says much louder, and while looking at Granny.
I look affronted.
Oh well, all right. I mean, what do you think? I don't know. Now at this point, Granny, you're limping. I would love a deception check from you at this point, Granny. That would be spectacular.
So do I get my inspiration or don't I?
What was the? Oh, because of is this a? Can you explain to me why I'm giving you this inspiration?
You promised me an inspiration at midnight.
Was that because of birthday reasons?
Yes.
Okay, yes. This is your birthday inspiration, yes. I did promise a birthday inspiration.
Your birthspiration.
Birthspiration.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Tari.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Everyone in chat should be saying happy birthday to Tari right now. Where are my birthday cakes at? Where my cheers at?
Natural 20. Pick that limp.
Deception, you said, right?
Deception.
Yeah.
Best way to start a birthday is to lie. No. Oh, God, it's to lie.
That's an 18.
What?
Deception.
What? What do you mean it's an 18?
Disgrace.
Despite the fact that I'm wishing you the most happy birthday as your friend.
Let me get a black Sharpie and write like the one in front of it on my screen so that you can see it.
You have to have, now you have to have a follow-up deception check to deceive the DM.
No, really what I said was,
Granny actually does twist her ankle in this process.
Well, no, I was going to say, I was so tempted, but no, I think what it is more is Granny's just like, that's right, I have a limp. And you're like the most strong looking limp of all time. And the bounder's like, you don't look very ill, if you will. You look very well preserved and athletic, actually. And the other one's like, oh, it's like my grandmother. Well, you can't be a day over 98, miss. And they kind of...
Cal's like, no, she's fragile.
Well, that's what Uber Yeager said. He's like, emotionally fragile or physically fragile? So, Granny, they do not seem to believe you about this limp, and they're both sort of staring at you. Coriander, at this point, the ribbon is now tied, and you're just about to start sneaking to the door, but you're not there yet.
Okay.
So they asked you to Granny. Cal, you can say something if you want, but they're asking Granny specifically at the moment.
Where am I?
They look at each other. What do you mean? You're outside the Matham house.
The whom house?
The math.
I'm not here to do any math, thank you. Where's my house?
And they
The Matham house.
It's a house for how many hams times one? One of them looks at you, Cal, and is like, "Oh, he's not quite all
Yeah,
there. You understand?"
I am going to use that. I told you, fragile. Between her and Titch, I've really had a time of it. I'm sorry. It's been a difficult month or so taking care of these two.
So he's
Cal is
like,
actually just like a caretaker.
he's like, you're saying, okay, I need a deception check.
I really do have to get them back home to the hotel. Yeah, what were you saying?
I need a deception check from you. Thank you for the cheer as well, Uber Yeager. That was great.
I poured way too much Baileys. What
Absolutely
the fuck?
tremendous, by the way, all of this. I have loved every bit of the last 20 minutes.
All right.
That's a single server.
And then this too.
You're not sure deception rolls needed? That sounds legit. No, that's maybe, but not after this emotionally fragile woman has just appeared out of a bush next to an open door. Slightly open door at the math house.
It's
Okay.
open about the width of it.
Just a crack. I know.
Mal, when do you have to leave?
7.
I'm watching it. It's 6 right now.
How far into the future is? Okay, thank you.
45 minutes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Okay, gotcha. That's fine.
Go ahead, Cal. You
Do you
can
have
make
any
it.
For dog-related
Inspiration.
reasons. I have
Oh.
to feed dogs. But
That's
anyway.
true.
I've
So you have
just trying
4
to figure
fellowship
out-
points left, Cal.
She needs to
or-
roofie some dogs IRL.
That'd be funny if we used like every single fellowship point
On
to
this
the
one
door.
thing.
Yeah. Well,
basically.
listen. I mean,
See, that's why I was asking what time it was and all that other stuff, because if Brad, you want the inspiration I'm reserving for you for the other thing, if you want it now, I'll give it to you.
Oh, yeah, I guess now.
Okay.
Would be
I
good.
I will inspire.
My character doesn't know about that map thing.
Yeah.
Then again, this is a character choice, or a player choice, not a character choice.
yes. Understood.
Okay.
Also, nobody
Here we go.
said anything about these beautiful cups that I got at the secondhand store.
That's
you-
very beautiful.
Very
That is really awesome. Okay.
set.
Thank you for the
4 of
inspiration,
these.
Tren. And that's a 15. So they're like,
Were you trying sleight of hand on Arv there?
it's like, look at
Give
this.
me a chance to roll twice or something.
What was that? Oh, never mind.
Jingle your keys. And
Pay no attention.
You start cackling like
Look, a
Wallace Shawn in The Princess Bride.
screwdriver.
Why are you laughing? No, I'll tell you later.
There's all this shit on my table.
So
You have some leather paints.
the bounder kind of looks and is like, all right, you help me with this one then, so we can get her back to this other person guard who doesn't want to abandon his post. You know what he looked a little bit perhaps loose in the attic, you know what I mean? And the other one's like, yeah, well, I didn't want to say anything, but so they're like, all right, we'll take you to a place where you can feel safe. And you, Cal, they're like,
Rocket
right.
Raccoon.
And so they begin to escort you out, at which point, Coriander, you get to the door, and looking out just the slightest bit, you can see 2 bounders are escorting Cal and Granny towards down the stone path towards the road.
Well.
Oh boy.
Guess the map's mine now.
I got me a map.
There's only one thing I want to do, and I'm trying to think of how best to do it. Or rather, Coriander is thinking of best to do it. What she wants to do, very badly,
Okay.
is release the hound.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. Brief pause here for a second to say that while you were being harangued,
Yes, I was. Thank you for
while
reminding me.
While you were enduring a harangue, I was looking over Coriander's item list, realizing that I don't have one. And I briefly expounded to the group that I have had some difficulty flipping my brain between a Blades in the Dark style game and D&D games.
Okay.
And one of the big differences there is an inventory system. In Blades in the Dark type games, you sort of declare load ahead of time.
Flashback,
and then and then you get to, at moments of critical importance, get to just kind of like say, yeah, no, I totally planned, I brought this thing, and up to a certain point, and there's like a cost for it and so on. So I was reflecting on that because the reason I don't have any items is just because I think I did not copy those things over from like a sheet. Like it doesn't make like things that Coriander would have on her, like lock picking tools or very like the rope that she used to get down, things like, so there's just literally nothing marked.
Right.
Because there's nothing marked, I think there's a beautiful blank slate possibility here. She, what I would like for her to have, if it's allowable, is something that would appeal to a small dog in her pocket. Some remnant of dinner, some bit of meat, some
It must be a bit of undigested beef. There's more of gravy than of grave about you.
Indeed, something like that. My other thought was that she would like look around the room to see if there were dog treats in the room. But in just like the swiftness of this moment and what she wants to accomplish here is this. What she wants to do is to and I'm not sure how to accomplish this exactly, except that she wants to like wake the dog, send the dog out the door after a treat, yipping and making noise and stuff, and then to shimmy up the rope behind it and escape.
All right, now because I am a kind and generous person, and because of my respect for you as both a friend and writer, I will say the following: that in my preparation, I, in watching last time's session, have remembered something you have not, which is that you specifically told me that when you entered the house, that you had taken with you from the tavern or wherever it was that you had stayed a handful of pepper. That you had brought this in specifically associated with the dog. So I am reminding you out of the kindness and generosity of my heart. So while I will not give you a dog treat, I am going to give you the handful of pepper you already told me you had.
Well, thank you.
You're
because
welcome.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Of course. Okay. All right. All right. So,
and Coriander, you're going to need to make this decision quick because they're walking away.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that what she's going to do is
walking fast.
Yeah, she's going to do this quickly. Execute 3-point move here.
Okay.
She's going to
She's gonna James Bond it. Let's see. Let's go.
So no one is actually checking the door.
No, not now. The two of them are walking with Granny and Cal.
Great. So. Okay. There's no way to actually ask this question. I'm debating whether, making him yip while inside is enough of a come back to the Matham house thing or no. Okay, no way to know. Well, she's going to let the door be more open, like just very slowly, like quietly. more open, dash to the rope, and be prepared to shimmy up it as she is like leapt up onto the rope, go with the pepper onto the dog's nose, and then try to escape.
Outstanding. I would like to see an acrobatics check, please. As you do this. So
I'm using a fellowship point, please. For this.
Up to the fellowship, assuming they're all cool with it.
If that's cool.
Sure.
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it? How do you feel, Brad?
He said yes.
Yes? Oh, he said yes? Okay, cool. I didn't hear. Okay. All right, here we go.
I'll drink to that.
Wait, where? All right, fellowship
Make
point.
sure I'm giving it the
As player, not character, why are we trying to throw away our clean getaway?
Wait, is it a clean getaway? I thought you guys were being taken.
She would have no way of knowing that.
Yeah.
What Coriander sees is the two of you being escorted by a bounder.
Yes. That's all I see.
I will vote for it because it is funnier.
It is funnier. Cal, I imagine you as a character, Brad, you and playing Cal as a character, Cal be like, what the but we'll talk about that in a minute. But she has no way of knowing, right? Like just yeah.
She has no way of knowing. What she's trying to do is just she's going to get out, but she also wants to give you guys a chance to escape, which is the thing that she would want to do in this situation, I think.
Yes.
But alas, Brad, I cannot tell you how gratifying it is to see you in this position, player of Golem. Oh my god. I am, seriously, it is.
All I have to say is next campaign, watch out.
No,
Then he's going to play a rogue again.
Yeah.
This is the thing that is patient upon you with of the thing that you did over and over to River constantly. All right, here we go. Khair inshallah. Let's do it. We're doing shit. That's not what I meant to roll. Sorry, I just hit a straight.
You punched the dog in the nose. Everyone hates you. No one buys any of your books.
This laptop is too sensitive.
No. It was not an attack roll. It was a strength roll.
It was a strength check.
She lifts the dog up and yeets it.
Yeah, sure.
High velocity.
No. An acrobatics check, please. Yes.
That's what I want. Okay, acrobatics. Okay, fellowship point. Poof. So
okay.
18.
So there's this. You hear there, and then poof, this pepper, and then up the rope. Now what you hear is and then just like this weird like spitting, and then and this thing starts echoing around the inside of the house. So there's this moment where even those who are walking down, Cal and Granny, you suddenly hear, although somewhat muted, like coming from the inside of the house. Titch, I would argue, even you, somewhere in the far distance, like just go like way, like what is it? Right?
Is that a bear here?
Yeah. So you go up. And one of the things that you hadn't necessarily accounted for is that the pepper that you put, because you have thrown it into a 3-sided, as I described it, chamber, which is occupied by a now frantically running around dog, pepper just into the room as a whole. So as you're climbing above this cloud, yep, and Cal and Granny, you turn around in time to see. I would like you all please to remember the classic Meatloaf song, Like a Bat Out of Hell, as this dog blows out of the door out of the house, and the bounders sort of whirl around as this dog is like, yep, like, running up this way. And like, now the noise of this dog while barking carries, there's just this echo through the town, yep, like just all over the place. You start to hear Titch. You see lights start to pop up in the town as this yipping sound is carrying everywhere. And Coriander, you are now on the roof. You quickly shimmy up. You're standing on the roof, and you see down below you, looking down in the field, just barely illuminated by the light of the gradually rising moon, is this small shape that is running in circles, going yip 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 yip, as they're running around.
Its face on the grass.
Exactly.
Cal turns towards it and says, "What on earth is happening?"
And one about, I don't know. Right, you stay here. Hey, come on. And the other bounder, like, basically let both of you go and just book towards whatever this shape is. And it's like, oh yeah, it sounds like firework. A firework? and says, "All right, well then you gotta go get go get Malva. Well, Malva's probably on her way. Malva." Now you all remember that Malva is the actual curator of the Matham House who has turned Bilbo down on multiple occasions. So the Bounders are like booking towards the dogs, which means Cal, you and Granny at the moment are not occupied. Coriander, you're on the roof watching this, and Titch, you see this sound, hear lights, and see as you look off into the field. Assuming you look behind you, at least. I don't know. It's up to you if you do, but I mean, it's right behind you.
No, you said I see this sound and I hear light.
Sorry, see the light and I hear the sound. My fault.
Gotcha.
But the sound's
Okay,
behind you. Are you turning around to look at the sound? So when you see you can see what is definitely not a bear, but what is in fact a small shape that sounds like a dog, yipping loudly while the two Bounders that spoke to you seem to be running across a field towards it. You also see two smallish shapes on the stone path, which might be two of your companions.
Yeah, we scuttle out of here.
Yeah, which way are you scuttling?
Hotel, I guess.
Well, towards where we think Titch is.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
so good.
Coriander, what about you? You're on the roof. You can now see this sort of from the not 1,000-foot view, 20-foot view, 20-foot view. I guess.
Which is close for a hobbit.
Yeah. She'll have pulled up the rope behind her, shut the skylight carefully, and here it just depends of like if it makes more sense for her to like flatten herself down on the roof and wait until the scrutiny has passed. She will, like, if she can see people approaching, right? So like
not from the town yet. She sees lights in the town. She doesn't see anyone approaching right now. She sees her people. The Bounders are running away. Remember, they are running from
the dog.
Right.
Great. Cool. Yeah. No. Then she too will just retrace her steps, and she is going to head back to the hotel to be where she has been all night.
Do
Okay.
we see that?
Well, no, I don't think so, unless because you folks are going. You see Titch for sure. In fact, while Coriander's getting down from the roof, I will
Wait a
say
second. Hold on a sec.
Yeah.
What can she see from the roof? She sees the dog running around.
She can see two smallish figures, which may be. You definitely don't see Cal or Granny at the door anymore. So you might see two small figures that might be them walking towards the road. And maybe if you squint, although this is hard, you might be able to see the somewhat tallish figure of Titch standing there. You don't know, but that's a little bit of a stretch. But Cal and Granny, you can definitely see no longer with guards because the Bounders are running chasing the dogs.
Okay, that's great. Okay, then in that case, she will actually just go to Granny and so on. So to regroup with them.
So when Granny and Cal, so Titch, you turn around to see Granny and Cal, probably with some speed, I imagine, moving up to you. And the three of you can now talk to each other. Again, I just want chat to be aware that while this is happening, yip, 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 in the field is going on.
Great.
So Titch, for the record now, I have a bad case of dementia in case anybody asks.
All right. So we meet up with Titch and Coriander is here too.
Coriander isn't there yet. Coriander is going to show up in about 30 seconds after you have this discussion, whatever you're having.
Oh, we don't know where she's headed towards the hotel or what. So Cal says, "Come on, let's get going. Let's get back to the hotel."
You see lights now, and like you start to see people coming from the town in this direction towards you.
You're missing a member of your party.
Oh, we're going to meet up
she will be
in just a bit.
fine.
At which point, in a cloud of dust, Coriander, like, I don't know whether you run into them, but practically.
No, she just like
appears.
She'll be like, "I'm here. Let's go."
Like I said, she's fine.
Cal is like looking Coriander up and down because like her cloak is like sticking way up above
it is.
For some
her
reason.
cloak is up on something.
Oh, you know what she's actually gonna do is she's gonna say, "This is not an ideal solution." She's gonna very like as they're walking and stuff, she's going to say like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe the state of this map. It was so awful. I had to just quickly, and she's like, she briefly lifts her cloak to show you and goes, this is not an ideal solution, but it was
Okay. Cal is just ushering everybody down the road.
The sound of the yipping is getting louder, by the way, as it circles around. So it's like a Doppler effect thing, like.
And she's like, she's actually like, Titch, do you think I could poke this into your cloak? You're a little taller than me, and maybe I could hide this behind you.
Don't you have a scroll case or something?
Cal, do you have a scroll case?
Yeah. I would probably have. Yeah, I think I would have a map tube of some sort.
All right, then Coriander will like go whoosh and hand it to you to like put away.
Okay. Yeah.
You now see a number
Is
of
that there?
lights headed down the road with some speed.
Yeah. All
Towards
right.
you.
We have to get off the road. Come on.
We
Alright.
will.
We could split up to go back to the
with
hotel.
speed in the other direction.
I was just about to say, if you want to go the other, because if you go towards the hotel, you're going right into the lights. Just letting you know.
Did we leave
Maybe
anything
we
at the
hide
hotel?
somewhere and wait for the lights to pass and then
Actually,
go to the hotel.
If we didn't leave anything in the hotel, then we should just go.
Did we
just
leave anything
Yeah,
at the
that's the
hotel?
I don't
No.
recall you.
And we packed light, right?
Even our odds.
I don't think so. We paid. We definitely paid for all of our stuff, so we're not skipping out on a bill.
What's
And-
one more crime?
Yeah, let's just book it. let's just book it.
Yeah. All right. So we'll head the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Okay, so you book it, and as you're sort of heading up the road, the yipping sound you hear at one point, sort of a, well, what's all this? Well, firework. What happened to firework? Yip yip yip. With people just like, and there's sort of like absolute chaos in the town as people arrive as you slip down the road. Now, I do have to ask about Titch. Titch, I'm guessing at this point you would follow your companions, or are you determined to stay at the guard post, come hell or high water? I will say that your post is now going to be manned by about 750 people in about 3 seconds, so it's not going to go unguarded.
I'm real tempted to stay there, at least for a little while.
It's up to you. I mean, you tell me. You just need to figure out a way that you're going to get out of that situation. That is all at some point.
Yeah, he would need to figure out a way that he's going to get out of that situation.
Yeah. So I'll leave it up to you. It's up to you how you want to handle it.
If Titch is not following, Coriander is gonna look at him and go and like have the biggest biggest eyes, and going to look at him and say, but Titch, I thought we were friends. Don't you want to come back with us?
And the pause is just like,
We'll find that out next time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
He's like, I'll catch up. Go. I know where you're headed. Go.
But I don't want to leave you behind.
If I come with you, I'm a part of this crime, and I won't do that.
What crime?
Oh, okay. I don't think there's been a crime, but I understand what you're saying. Please do come.
The
find us.
only crime here is the way they've treated this poor map.
Oh,
Okay. All right, reluctantly and sadly, but okay, so Coriander, before she goes, is gonna run up to Titch and throw her arms around him and give him a big hug around the midsection, and then go back with everybody else.
Okay. Then I need to talk to Titch, and then I'm going to talk about what happens when you arrive back. We'll speak about that. But Titch, so
I just imagine Coriander wrapping around like Titch slipping his spear between the two of them, trying to pry her off. Sorry, go ahead.
Titch, I would say it's fair to say that in about 10 minutes after your companions have exited, the Matham house and the surrounding area is a hive of activity. It is just absolutely, swarming, almost literally. And my question is, are you going to talk to anyone directly, or take a moment where you might slip out of the path, or how are you handling things? No one has come to talk to you directly yet.
Well, I imagine that as people are coming by, they're probably looking at me like, who the hell are you and what are you doing here?
Yeah, some of them,
And-
but more of them are concerned about the yipping dog and
Right,
about Malva,
that's why
who
he's
is
gonna
now
be like-
raising the Shire by herself. What has happened to my dog? You know, type of-
Right. So, I mean, when anybody comes along, he's pointing towards where the commotion is.
Okay.
And he's, it's over there.
Okay. Okay.
So he's kind of directing traffic, but he's not really
Okay.
aware that he is. But if somebody comes and asks him what's going on, he will say, there's some commotion down there.
Eventually, your bounder person who originally set you to this kind of has a chance to speak to you and ask you what happened, like overall, like what in the night.
I was following your instructions just as you asked me to. I was staying here on guard, watching for the thing. The next part of the patrol came along and tried to get me to abandon my post, which I take my job very seriously. They said they did too, and then tried to convince me to not do that. I find that incredibly unprofessional. Anyway, they moved on, and whatever they did back there caused this commotion. So I've been here where you told me to stay the entire time.
And she nods, and she kind of, I believe it was a she.
Yeah,
She nods and she kind of pats your shoulder and she says, "So that means they've told you a little bit about they tell you about Bargo?"
There was something about an embargo, but I'm not sure what they were talking about. Yay!
Well done.
There it is. And she says, right, it's kind of wasn't a real bear. Anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow. You're relieved though. I'm supposed to take over in this post. And look, I don't know, but I think Malva's not going to be happy. You might not want to be that near when she comes back. She's probably going to ask questions about this situation.
Well,
And-
that's fine. I don't have any answers, so maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't be here. I mean, all things considered, I shouldn't be here anyway.
And she says, look, I want to say, well, and she kind of looks around. She says, Titch, there ain't many people who actually would care as much as you seem to about your work. And, well, if I got a say in the matter, I'm going to have the sheriff, when he's being the mayor, not the sheriff, send a message to Bree to tell him what a good job you did here. And commend you might say. I appreciate that you stuck by things. And
He kind of moves his helmet slightly to. Did you say commend or condemn?
commend, not
Oh,
condemn.
that's much better.
Commend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And he kind of straightens up to attention, kind of his chin sort of up again.
Silhouetted against the moonlight.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, and and she's like, so thank you, and look here, and she fumbles in her pouch and she pulls out what looks essentially like a wooden sort of token, but on the front of it you can see is essentially a rune, and she says, so this is the rune of Michelle Delving. If you ever get into trouble out here in the West Farthing, well, you give this to them, and well, they might give you some consideration. Think of it as sort of a get out of the town hall sell free card. Bargo didn't have one. And then she sees you're not laughing, and she's like, right. So I'll just stay here, and you can head off, and thank you again. And you hear Malvo, I want to talk to whoever's respond. He said, you better move out.
I am relieved. And he strides on.
I want to jump us forward to what happens upon your return to Bag End. There are two things that happen. First of all, insofar as the door was definitely not closed, which is how Firework was able to blow through it, you'll be happy to know that Firework was not harmed in the making of this adventure.
No fireworks were harmed in this game.
No fireworks were harmed in the making of this game.
They never are.
However, the news that it's pretty obvious that someone broke in and did something, largely due to a variety of disturbed books and a distinct smell of pepper, which still remains inside the Matham house. And so within probably 2 to 3 days, the news that someone has broken into the Matham house is all over Michelle Delving and fairly soon is spread across the West Farthing. In fact, Coriander, it's possible that even your parents may have heard rumors of this and have given you several particularly suspicious looks in your direction, maybe. And also a couple of, Granny, you've also had to field a couple of questions from them, like, did anything happen to her while she was, type of thing.
This is the Halo now.
I was gonna say that's your Halo, isn't it?
So, Cal, I'm going to talk about what Bilbo says to you in just a minute. After your successful recovery of the old Took's map of this Shire and the swift journey home, particularly swift, I'm not sure any of you stopped running for several hours, you are greeted by the green door of Bag End being thrown open like a pop gun to reveal a grinning Bilbo standing on the doorstep, walking stick in hand. You found it! Oh, wonderful! Oh wait, actually, Titch, do you still have it? So now that I think of that,
no. We get Cal around.
You kept it. Yeah. That's right. Cal had it in his too, right?
Yeah.
So Cal, assuming you show it to him, I shouldn't assume.
Yeah.
But assuming that you show it to him, you found it. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, I knew I could rely on you. Come in. Oh, I'm so happy. Is that a smell of pepper?
It reminds me, I'm hungry.
Much pepper on her. Whatever she had, she threw at the dog. It was like a small amount.
You haven't washed your hands yet.
You have not had the experience of a dog spreading a small handful of things, and I have.
And it got
I've been there.
all like stuck in your foot hair. And
Imagine
stuff like
it
that.
as glitter, and you'll know what I'm talking about. A small handful indeed. Bilbo ushers you in with a hasty wave of his hand. He says, "Well, come in. We'll need to review my grandfather's map quickly tonight if we're to set off on our next adventure. This remarkable find of yours makes me believe I'm quite ready for one. Perhaps I might even accompany you." And as the three of you enter, Titch, as you are making your way down the road, there's a moment where you look off to the side and you see what might be a faintly blue glowing bear, or might be a hobbit with a broom handle and a piece of cloth trying not to be seen. And you continue your stride along the road as we bring A Conspiracy Most Cracked to an end.
Very good. Oh, I would like to do a thing actually at
Yes,
Bilbo's, if
please feel free to do a thing.
Yeah, so before we set out on this grand adventure that we just partook in, I completely forgot to haggle out a reward from Bilbo, because one of Granny's hobbies is to just fuck with Bilbo.
Okay.
Because like, as cousins do, and basically what she would like to do is to try and convince him that, like, right from the get-go, she had convinced him to give up one of his heirlooms that he owns. And she would have just randomly picked something shiny and expensive looking that would have been in the room.
Well,
as
a ring.
In
a ring.
fact,
No. I'm like more thinking like I don't remember if that's actually in the books or not, but like in the movie, you know how when like all the family members like come to the house and are like, no,
Sackler Baggins says,
yeah, like what to steal all the stuff, and there's like this thing about like the chair where like also Bill was like, no, this one is not for sitting, like something like that. Yeah.
So
and then she would just like use it as a footrest or something.
So he actually does. He actually is willing to reward each of you. I was going to come to that last with Cal, but he is willing to reward each of you with something. Granny, I would say for you, he offers you actually something a little better than that. He offers you a silver what would be the term, not plated, but like there's a silver like inlay, silver topped, thank you, walking stick. that he has, and he tells you that this is silver indeed from the dwarves. Now, Bilbo's always saying stuff like that, and you never really know 100% whether to believe him, but it certainly seems like a pretty impressive walking stick and quite
So I can kill
shiny.
monsters with this, yeah, because it's silver?
No,
Wait,
but it'll hold you
wrong
up.
novel.
I was gonna say it'll prevent you from falling out of bushes. Let's say in certain cases.
You can use it against were-terriers. That's fine.
Oh,
Exactly.
terriers.
Titch, you are not actually left alone with this. He also provides you with a silver handled sort of spear, and the.
He refuses.
Oh, really? Because it's not from
Titch,
Bree?
Titch, no, because Titch is not going to take part in any of this crime.
And any of the ill-gotten gains. I see. All right. Well, then he is. He doesn't quite. He
Paladins.
seems to not even understand what you mean about crime. He's sort of like, he kind of just is like, oh, well, humans are men of Bree are so strange, really. But he lets that go. Coriander, for you, he gives you what he says are very subtle things for subtle uses, and what they actually are a set of silken black gloves that are just for the tips, just not for the tips of the hands, but like all the way. They're not. I was about to say fingerless, and I was like, that'd be totally useless for this. The idea is that's supposed to cover your hands.
Yeah.
But they are very nice and very precious and very, and he's like,
Precious.
be careful not to. His precious. Be careful not to. Rip these, but they may help you keep a little quieter. If there's ever reason for you to do that, I can't imagine what there'd be. Last of all,
These are very, very, very beautiful, Uncle Bilbo, but you do remember that I am owed a spoon.
And he nods and he says, well, if you had checked your vest pocket, and you look in your vest pocket and find a spoon there, and Bilbo has given you a slightest of winks as he turns away. Last Cal, Bilbo one night is sitting down talking to you, having given you a set of fine silver pens that are usable for particularly fine map work. And that can make things. In fact, if you had them before this, you could have done even more with the cover, with the copy of this, if you wanted to actually do that. But as you're sort of looking, as he's sort of speaking to you, he says, "Look at this, my boy," and he's pointing down at one part of the map, and it seems to be a map even of like the north farthing, actually, not the west farthing, and he says. So there's where you received this map because of your cleverness, and here's where I am. And what do you think is down there, my boy? And he points to this one spot, and you can see several runic letters there that seem to maybe spell out something about. There's a T and a K you might be able to make out there. It might be something about Took.
Elvish, Dwarvish?
It appears
Runes
to
are-
be.
language, sorry.
It appears to be Elvish. And he says, I believe I know what this map is for. I think we've found the club of Bandabrus Took, and we're going to get it.
Vanderbrus.
And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close.
Ooh.
So, the club with which Bandabrus Took himself, as you may remember, took off the head of a goblin. It went straight through the air and down a rabbit hole, and such the battle was won, and the game of golf invented in the same moment.
Ah,
Straight
yes.
from the
That
Hobbit,
was
yes.
the guy. I was like, that name rings a bell.
Right.
That's the guy. Very, very well done. Super, super entertaining. Oh my God. I love that everything on Professor Tolkien's Green Earth went wrong, and somehow you managed to all kind of hold this together.
Things go more wrong.
That's true. The visuals
Until
the
it came
visuals-
back around to right.
The visuals were amazing. And I will let you folks know, I've already mentioned this to the players, but I will tell chat that the adventure that these folks will go on next is called Expert Treasure Hunters. So Expert Treasure Hunters is where these folks will go next. Thank you for the cheers, by the way, Dragon Spirit. Yes, Tolkien does deserve a cheer. So, players, wonderful stuff. I will start with the gentleman at the bottom right. I was not sure exactly, Tren, how we're going a little bit out of normal order because of the way the squares are. I was not sure entirely how this was all going to go down with Titch, because I think you're 100% right that, you know, like, man's guard is his castle, so to speak, like his post is his castle. I get it, you know, you were staying in this one spot, you had been put there, but I wasn't sure how that was going to work out ultimately, especially when you found out that the bear may not have been the bear that you thought was the case. Very Hobbit-like, but not very bear-like. So I was curious how that was all going to work out, and in the end, it ended up being something where Titch was true to his principles, but also, you know, was part of the mix in this. So I found that very funny. And the sequence of you sort of putting the spear in between you and Coriander was very funny. Titch's perpetual bemusement in this campaign has been very amusing to me. So I like that. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I thought it was awesome, and I'm glad I got to use my inspiration.
Yes.
In the way that
And you all
I was
use
just
3
like,
fellowship
oh
points, like a Final Fantasy VII
Right.
boss battle. Like
Oh
every
my God.
Phoenix down, every...
So great. So great, because this is the sort of situation where we're going to go through them. We're going to need one of those points, and we're not going to have it because we use them all here. And it's just like, I mean, we got 3 more, so it's fine. But it, you know, it's going to be great. It's going to be lovely. Yeah, I'm just the difference in size between Tawny's spirit bear form and a hobbit with a broomstick is significant.
I know.
So Titch is like, you know, looking off in the distance, and it could be a bear or it could be. I'm like, no.
I was being quite facetious on that.
Titch has seen neither of them.
Right.
So frankly,
Could be neither. That's true.
Yeah.
Could very well be neither one.
Uh-huh. It's like okay, one is the size of a kid with like a hobby horse, and the other is the size of a Volkswagen. So it's like,
Yes.
Anyway, because Titch knows how big a bear is. So
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was being a bit facetious
just,
with that.
Yeah, I know. Just Titch isn't. So it's just I love this game and this group so much. It is so much fun. I'm much like what I think Amal was saying earlier. There is going to come a point where it's like the fact that Bilbo's like, you know, oh, we're going on an adventure, and now Titch is like, oh. He's like, wait a minute.
Well, hold
what
on.
is this guy trying to sucker me into? He is having none of this shit. So when we start this next event, oh, it's going to be great. It's like, wait, where are we going? It's like, well, we need to free a thing. Free? And he's going to look directly at Coriander and be like, is this like you liberating other objects that want to be with someone else? He's just going to be like, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And
if you had seen that map, if you had seen it, creased and dusty and miserable, if you'd only seen it, it would not be so hard to persuade you.
so where will people see me next? Probably here, maybe, I think. I don't know. We're planning next month's.
Yes, over the weekend we'll be figuring out May. Yes, which will be quite busy. So.
Yeah, and I mean definitely at the end of next month.
Yeah,
probably.
ARVCon next month, people. So yep.
Mm-hmm. Aside from that, it looks like Discord has an update for me. So yeah, don't know why that was relevant to say, but there we are. And yeah, are we going that way or that way?
We'll go I guess left and then up. So we'll go to Tari next.
To the birthday girl.
To the birthday girl. So happy birthday again, Tari. Granny Lavender with an eventful session. I was absolutely, first of all, very clever play from you and Brad both. I was dying at the whole, like, you know, like, what do you mean a math house? And I'm just like, oh my God, the emotionally fragile. So it's just like convinced of senility instead. Like, and what I love about this is that this is exactly the confusing situation that a bounder would be like, well, Titch was weird. Like, it's like, you know, like, I mean, there's no argument. Like, I'll come more to that when I get to Brad and poor Cal, like, trying to herd these cats. But so Granny, the fact that you're having to figure out how Granny manages this appropriately was very, very funny to me. And I wondered if there was going to be a big back and forth about like, how dare you treat me, young man? But then more, it was just like, I have to pretend not to know any of what's going on here because you literally can't limp well enough. Like you're too spry, to be able to pretend to be, ancient and feeble.
You failed to limp.
You failed to limp.
I don't know if you guys ever watched Community, but there's this one episode where the eldest member of the main character group joins a bunch of people who are even older than him at the same school. And at some point, they all like start pretending to be senile to outwit the cops. So this is my entire character.
Was based on that logic. Well, Dragon Spirit cheered "Happy Birthday, Granny," and I certainly agree. How did you feel about today's session, Tari? Where will the folks find you next?
This was a lot of fun. I mean, it's always a lot of fun, but like this was particularly hilarious because I like it when like the games get a bit silly, like especially because like last campaign, like the longer a campaign goes, the more serious it's tend to get, right?
Right.
Because like you build up all this character baggage and shit like that, and we don't have that yet, so we can do all of this super silly shit.
Very high stakes. See, there was a dog that was pepper sprayed. I mean, like, listen, there was seriously. I just want to spread this rumor so that poor Amal has got to deal with this stuff. Like, is it true, despite your writing skill, that you actually have thrown pepper in the face of dog? Listen, it was in a game, and it wasn't even.
Especially since she is currently in someone else's house, dog sitting.
Right. So, I mean, even more horrific. Like the just.
I love my dogs. I love them so much. I literally make them food by hand.
With pepper.
With cayenne, yeah.
With
Eating whatsoever. The blandest food.
With cayenne pepper. Oh my god. Anyway, but on we go, Tari. How did it was all good stuff.
I'm just interested to see where this party will be in roughly 4 years. So how horribly traumatized we all gotta be. And then we will remember back to how light and wholesome and silly the good old days were. So, well, assuming that Granny doesn't die of old age before then. But we will see about that. That's me. I am usually here on some Tuesdays, either for this or for Gamebook illustration streams. Currently, we are doing a fighting fantasy book. What's the name of it?
Midnight Rogue. We're probably going to be wrapping that up this next
yes.
session. We'll wrap it up with the gem, hopefully.
Yes. The one where we had to restart because we
couldn't
so
pick
wisely
locks.
decided to not take lockpicking in a game where we had to burgle a place.
And by we, Tari does not mean herself. Tari means...
because I didn't vote. I'm just sitting there commenting on shit and drawing.
Emily's like, hey!
So yes, the grand finale next time then.
Yeah.
Do tune in for that. And besides from that, people can find me on Tumblr and on Instagram, where I post my art and stuff on occasion.
Good stuff.
And now I will go to bed, and then I will wake up in the morning and eat birthday cake for breakfast.
That's right. Happy birthday again, Tari. And
Thank you.
Tari's a wonderful artist, and a lot of her work is celebrated on this channel through the form of emotes and other things, including perhaps things you may see in our merchandise shop not too long from now. And this gorgeous overlay, which is Tari's work, and the gorgeous amazing character art, which is also Tari's work. So a lot of Tari in this campaign. Thank you, Tari, so much as always. Brad, the thing, and again, this was extremely clever. The idea of pulling Titch into this as it was happened was genius. I was like, hell yes, because they were like, what is with this guy? So like the fact that you pull him in, and also, and I think Arudnell brought this up, like it's also like not even totally deception, because you also are like, what is with Titch? Really, what is with Titch? What is with these people? So like there was a lot of truth in your like, god damn it. It was very, very funny, and I thought, you handled all of that very well. And on a slightly more serious note, Bilbo obviously respects you as the map person, and so although you were not the one who actually found the map, you bringing it back and then being the one that's looking over the map with him is understanding that is going to be important. But the herding cats notion of how we do this, and also you had to like get in their way, stall for time, all this stuff, that was very funny to me. Yeah, and it should be said, it is true that Coriander is very fond of her uncle, but Amal is just very happy that Brad got a slight taste of Bolo's medicine. Like, wait, what? Doing which now? So that was very funny. So how did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Yeah, it was a fun wrap up to this arc. I don't know if we have any Ted Lasso fans in the group or the audience, but
of course,
there's a particular character, Nate Shelley, who is a kit man. He's like the equipment man for the team in the first season, and he gets promoted to assistant coach by the end of the first season. Season 2, he becomes completely jealous with envy over other coaches who are coming into the group and getting kind of the limelight ahead of him, and get most of Ted's attention as the season moves on. And so he starts going gray. And so like by mid-season, you see a little bit of gray coming in. And then by the tail end of the season and the final episode, he is almost completely gray because of this stuff going on. So in Cal's case, as we come back to Bag End, the other characters might notice like one little sliver of gray coming into his ginger hair at this point. And so I picture
speed,
by the end,
right?
by the end of the adventure, this whole arc, he will be completely gray at a young age.
Bolo.
It's named for each one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bolo and
I
Bolo.
will note that Bolo never did anything like on purpose, though. He was just like, he was just new to the whole thing, and he made mistakes because he was callow. That's all.
He never on purpose decided to do exactly what River said not to do and wander into a pack of wargs or after some orcs or no, never. That never happened. There's definitely no VOD proof of any of that. No, nothing like that.
Should
I
make a
stand by my
super
story.
cut of
So,
Bolo fucking over the party.
This is where I have to throw in a yip, 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 yip.
Fun session. So I will be back here next month, and if you want to keep up on my writer goings on, check me out at grillings.com. It has all my social network stuff, and otherwise I'll be back here next month.
Good stuff, Brett. Thank you as always. And last but certainly not least, Amal, Coriander had a very eventful time inside that house. And yeah, it was actually a lot of fun when you started going through this whole thing about like the Blades in the Dark business, and I know all about that. I played Blades in the Dark, and the whole stuff of like, and then maybe this, and you can declare load and all this stuff. I'm waiting for the punchline. And when you're like something that could maybe deal with the dog, I'm like, here I can beatifically bestow upon you in a beneficent way the fact that you told me that you were bringing Pepper into the house specifically, and I quote, in case there's a problem with the dog. So I'm just saying, this was you that did this. No, but I mean, like, honestly, the sequences again, and I think part of it, Chad, the way that these visuals can become so vivid is when the players have so clearly distinguished their characters and describe what they would do and everything, that like as a story, then you can totally see it. And I don't know about all of you, I could 1,000,000% just see like Coriander, like, where is this? And then finding this thing and being like horrified at how it's been treated, rolling it, being like, oh crap. And then like rolling it some more. And then like the Pepper thing, which because it's in a 3-sided thing, which I did establish, goes flying out. It was absolutely precious. And it meant that we got to see Firework in all his glory. So that was a blast. And as it turned out, you did the job. It alerted all of the Shire practically of the fact that this theft has happened. Maybe there'll be consequences that down the line, but no, it was a lot of fun to see. And in the end, also I thought it was very sweet that despite all of Titch's continual constant frustration with everything, Coriander's just like, but we're friends, right? Like has no concept of like how frustrated I assume Titch is, just blows through it or something or something like that. So how'd you feel about today, and where will the fine folks find you next?
I loved it. I love today. Also, Coriander adores Titch. Like,
Yeah.
she really, really, really likes him. And it's not that, like, I think that it's not, she's not dumb. Well, I mean, she's not dumb. She's like, she's not, she's just like, cheerfully oblivious to the possibility that, like, that Titch might not want to be friends because she likes him so much, you know, and he's just a grumpy guy, but she has affection enough for both of them. That's how it's gonna be. But anyway, he's just not demonstrative, you know. That's fine. But anyway, no, I love today. I feel like up until now, Coriander has not been living up to my personal mandate for her of causing problems on purpose and being the horrible goose from the Untitled Goose Game,
which is tremendous.
and so, which is tremendous, and I highly recommend it.
Yes.
But so finally today, I felt like she every other session there was a problem and she had a hand in solving it instead of what I wanted, which is to cause problems on purpose. And in this case, she did cause problem on purpose, and it was great, and I loved it. And it was sincerely in an attempt to, free her family from the popo. So, you know, I feel like this was a sincerely motivated action. No, I super enjoyed it. I was gonna say too, oh no, oh god. See, I started today barely being able to remember my own name, so the fact that you brought Pepper up was very, very, very good. There was no way in a million years I was going to remember that setup from a month ago. So I was very glad of that. But Tren said something that I wanted to pick up on. What was it?
If you wake up the dog, you had
This was the thing. Yeah. So Tren, there was a moment where Tren DM'd me right after the map rolling, and he said, on the plus side, if the dog wakes, you have a rolled up piece of paper to use against it. Which was too beautiful a visual to risk, you know, pre-gaming and stuff. I held on to that in case. That was also going to be absolutely hilarious, but it didn't need to happen, and that way the map not getting damaged, although
right.
Very funny. But yeah, no, I really love this crew. I think it's very, very fun. There was absolutely something else I was gonna try and remember to say that I'm forgetting, but where people can find I can't remember. People can find me here, hopefully one day in May that I can do this, because there's a lot of, I'm moving house next week, and it's going to be a quite busy time, and there's some travel coming up and stuff, but I will be here not for ArvCon sadly, but for hopefully a session before that. And otherwise you can find me at my newsletter, at my website, and decreasingly on Twitter, which is, I don't know if it's even able to, is it even able to affect cancellations at this point? Can I get canceled for peppering a dog? Not sure.
Probably not. Probably
but
not.
Anyway.
Maybe, yeah, right. Your punishment, you'll be canceled by being given a blue check. That's how that works.
Yeah, that's true. That's what's happening now.
It's going to be funny.
Arv, you do realize the burning question that we left in Michel Delving when we left,
which is,
who let the dog out?
Who?
No.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's true.
Nice. Nice. It all comes back around.
Too many full circles. We need. That's basically a 360-degree circle.
That's the Olympics.
That's
the Olympics.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Please, can I have an owl? I want an owl friend.
That is quality work all the way around. Hey, note to Triffid, by the way, we're looking at May 9th. I know we're going to be doing this over the weekend, but so players, please do me a favor and look over the weekend as Triffid puts that in so we can confirm that time, and I'll speak to Triffid about that offline. Also, just a wonderful job from this crew, and I'm so happy that the tone of this has been exactly what I hoped for, which is another side of Lord of the Rings. There is a sort of a gentler side to it, and there may be more seriousness that happens over time, but it's not going to be as dark as the other campaign which was itself Tolkien based too, very much so. But I've enjoyed having something like this, which I felt like was
I remembered.
I don't know. It was nice. Yes. Okay.
I remember
What
the
did you
thing I
want?
was gonna say,
Quickly to
sorry.
meet your own deadline.
Yeah, my poor dogs are hungry. I will feed them, not pepper. No, the thing I wanted to say was that, like, talking about like the lightness of the tone, that's what it was. Like The Hobbit as a book, like, starts very lighthearted, and the
Right.
worst thing that happens is, like, a scratch in Bilbo's paint job on the door, and then from there it really escalates, and it
Right.
really, like, starts to
Right.
move through a different sort of time and stuff. And I don't know if that's something that's in the cards for us, but like that progression is also quite different from the progression across Lord of the Rings. And yeah, like Tolkien stuff contains multitudes for sure. But I really like the idea that what we're kind of doing is like splashing around in the shallow end of the pool here.
Yeah.
And it's really fun.
I think it's
Well,
also.
so long as we don't get on Húrin levels of dreary,
Oh, God,
I'm
yeah.
all is good.
I mean, and that's the other thing
Good
too, is
night,
that I think
Donald.
it's a good mark, I think, of what the system can do, and also what good players can do. That it's not easy to have something which is fun and light and doesn't feel sort of like, well, we're just doing improv. Like, I mean, this is using sort of mechanical aspects of the system to do a lot of this, including fellowship points, which we had to use 3 of today to get out of there. But I think that was also a mark of, and also, I'm biased, but the richness of Professor Tolkien's world, as you say, contains multitudes, but it's also the players who know how to hold on to it. And it feels like the players have also been enjoying a bit of lightness, because goodness knows we could use some of that. Chat, can we get some love for our amazing players who I'm excited to have back next month? As always, the amazing and awesome crew of Amal Elmatar, of Brad Bullier, of Tari Tunes, and of Trent Sparks. Wonderful work, players, and I will see you folks in this group anyway. I'll see you folks next month, and otherwise I'll see you folks in different places, different spots. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye for
Au revoir.
now.
Arrivederci.
Okay.
All right. So, lovely stuff. And of course, I want to, especially, most of all, for the moment anyway, I want to thank Free League for sponsoring this. And I've told, of course, Free League about this. I know that they've had a chance to check in some of these things, but I really hope that they will. They're very busy doing a lot of stuff too. But I hope they will. Thank you, Dragon Spirit, for the cheer, and to Uber Jaeger as well. I hope they will check in on this, because I'm serious about that. I really appreciate that this is something which has a different sort of gentler tone, and it's, I think, an important lesson that a story can have stakes and tension without requiring the evil uber demon of fiends that will destroy all the world without the blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, you can have those tension and stakes relative to the stature of the characters, and these are characters who are, I think, quite noticeable and striking, but they're not spectacular warriors. They're not a secret special operations service like the King's Citadel in Eberron, or a group of people brought together by circumstance and tragedy like the Esper Genesis D&D characters in Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. So that's the situation that's there. I'm sorry about the pass note. I'm sorry about that, Emily. Yeah, no, I mean, but as I'm saying, like, I didn't see something too much because I was in the midst of doing a million things. I think you might have said something about it being too quiet as one of the notes that it got. Again, I just repeat again for everyone louder in the back. That's absolute nonsense. Like, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. First of all, quiet doesn't have to mean low stakes. Emily and I have talked about this before. Quiet can often mean extremely high stakes. It just means we're not talking about epic wars of millions of people per side, right? So there's that. And then the second thing is that even if it were low stakes, which it's not, that doesn't have to be boring either. That the stakes are relative to the people. And so that, I think, is kind of significant as well. So, yeah, that's. Oh, we're just talking about a pass that one of Emily's novels is on submission and was turned down. And so apparently the feedback reflected that it was too quiet, which, again, I think that's silly, but but hang in there, Emily. I'm we know the quality of your writing and your work. But I really enjoyed this today, and I hope you folks did as well. And we're not done streaming, actually, because 2 hours from now, we will be back here at 9 p.m. Eastern for the conclusion of Citizen Sleeper with the Arvocalists. We will be back here with Zach Clay and this time KP. Rem Alternus is currently traveling. We couldn't get Rem, KP, and Zach all at the same time. So we're going to have KP here tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern along with Zach. We will wrap up Citizen Sleeper. And then next month, speaking of light tone, get ready to laugh with the Arvocalists, because because next week we are going to have, or next month I should say, we are going to be getting into some Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I am super excited for some more Ace Attorney, so I hope you folks are looking forward to that too. Objection, hold it, and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be cool. With that said, I do want to thank Free League for sponsoring us. I want to encourage you to check out the wonderful work Free League does, whether it is Tales from the Loop, whether it's Blade Runner, whether it's the new one that they've just released called Dragonbane, which I've actually been looking at, and that looks pretty cool. I need about a free second after I'm done breathing with that free second. I need a free second to check it out, but it looks pretty interesting to me. Whether it is Morkborg or obviously this game, Lord of the Rings role-playing, or any of the numerous other properties, they do good work, and so I'm very pleased that they have sponsored us. And I will mention that I talked about this before, but this that you are watching now is going to get an audio podcast. We have just about put enough together now that we think we'll be able to start releasing episodes. This is money that was given to us partly to support a podcast, an audio podcast. So we're going to be doing an audio podcast like I do for Curse of Strahd. We're going to be doing another one like that for Shire Adventures. So there will be an all audio version of this that will be coming. Probably my guess is maybe 1 or 2. It'll probably be about an hour, I would guess, to an hour and 15 per session. So a little shorter than the Curse of Strahd podcasts. But yeah, so that's going to be on its way. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But I'm going to rise up on out of here and get me some dinner so that I can have good energy for this evening and for some more awesomeness with the Arvocalist. If you like what you saw and heard today, please follow the channel. Check out our YouTube at !ArvTube. Sub to me over there. Please join us on Discord, !ArvCord. Twitter is !ArvTweets. Website, arvanellarun.com. Financially, we have got !ArvShop for the merchandise area, which is being reworked as we speak. Patreon is !ArvTreon. And of course, subbing to the channel, as a couple of people did today, is always appreciated as well. Please consider as well supporting us on the publishing side. !Icarus, my graphic novel from the amazing Athos Arts. Library, my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and source book from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And Greyshade, which is my novel that came out from the amazing Athos Arts last year, which is currently a finalist in the IBPA Science Fiction and Fantasy category for 2023 Benjamin Franklin Awards. Silver medal right now, and we hopefully will be getting a gold medal. We'll find that out next month, and Emily will be there in person to be able to accept whichever it is, and hopefully to be able to she will glitterify the audience regardless, but hopefully will do so in the context of a gold medal. Either way, it's an honor to have that. You can get that book right now. You can pre-order Renegade, which will be out later this year. You can pre-order Heretic, which will be out next year. You can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game from Brandon O'Brien, which will be out later this year, and the audiobook from Tren is already out. You can get a copy right now from BackerKit, or you can wait until it propagates to Audible and many of the other places where you get your fine narrative works. And as always, !BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. !Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention, important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And !Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the fine people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage. And we send a message that we will support not just them, but others in the future for that situation. Last but certainly not least, don't forget about this, the live event at the Klein Theater, kicking off our 9th annual charity event for ArvCon to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. This is a live event at the historic Klein Memorial Auditorium in Bridgeport, Connecticut, in front of an audience. $5 tickets to get in, $5 tickets for the live stream as well. And again, that will be Thursday, May 25th, 1 month from today at 6 p.m. Eastern. Very excited for this. I will have players C.S.E. Cooney, Carlos Hernandez, Robert Austin James, otherwise known as Darkside Rob, and the aforementioned Zach Clay, plus a high school student up there with me playing through Night at the Forbidden Library, again, to benefit Damon Runyon. If you are in the New England area and are willing to put up physical flyers, I would be happy to send this to you, and you could put them up in a couple of libraries, bookstores, things like that. If you are not in the tri-state area, would still love to hear from you, because I would be happy to send you digital copies of these, which you could put, if you like, in a couple of forum or Reddit posts or things like that, because people can still pay $5 to get into the online stream as well. So there's also that one way or the other. That is going to do it for me. I will see you folks back here at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Vocalist and Citizen Sleeper. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Arudinel, Dragonspear, Emily the Invincible, Hillness, Triffity Mats. Thank you so much for being the best mods in the business. Thank you to my wonderful Patreon supporters and subscribers, Arudinel, Dragonspear, Emily, Hillness, Triffid, Echo, Uber Jaeger 67. Thank you to both Dragonspear and Uber Jaeger for all of the amazing cheers and support tonight. And thank you so much for that. And thank you to my wonderful viewers. Thank you to Al Madden, to Axeman, to Bearded and Jaded. Thank you to Elysian, Flying Enemy, Freaky Babe TV, Lisa Bay, Jagtress. Thank you to Kooky. Thank you to Mrs. Dunsel. Thank you to Robert, MS Tensu, This is Unreal, and Victoria Victory. Thank you, everybody. And I will see all of you lovely folks back here in about an hour and 45 minutes. Until then, Shire Adventures, A Conspiracy Most Cracked Complete. Next month, we begin the next adventure in the campaign, and that is called, thank you, Dragonspear, for that cheer. Next month, the next part of the campaign is called Expert Treasure Hunters. In that spirit, thanks, everyone. Much love, and I'll see you folks back here in a couple hours. Bye for now.